Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto is trained by wolves for chunin exams. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by WINDSTORM16 and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Come on! Shouted Naruto Uzumaki as he struggled against his bindings. Naruto was currently tied to a wooden post at training ground 7. The reason he was tied up was because his new sensei, Kakashi Haddock, and teammates, Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno, had left him tied up right after Kakashi had preached how those who abandon their friends and teammates are trash. Why the hell was I even tied up? I at least tried getting the bells. Sakura didn't even try being taken out by simple genjutsu and fainting. Naruto mentally ranted. While anyone who knew the blonde would be shocked at what he thought of his precious Sakura-chan, being left tied up for 10 hours tended to leave even the kind-hearted Naruto feeling bitter. They couldn't even leave me something to untie myself with, no they just left me here. Naruto grumbled getting close to untying the ropes. For the first few hours Naruto had believed they would come back and untie him, that they simply forgot to. But when 5 hours had passed Naruto realized they weren't coming back and he had to untie himself, hard to do when he couldn't reach his weapons or move his arms, leaving to simply struggle against the ropes, hoping they'd come loose. He had thought after his teammates had offered him their food that maybe, just maybe, they could have been friends or at least a working team. That's what I get for getting my hopes up. Thought Naruto bitterly before with a final tug he managed to loosen the ropes enough to reach his kunai pouch and cut through the ropes. Rather than going back to his apartment Naruto decided to go for a walk, besides who'd be there waiting for him. Oh right, no one. Naruto thought looking down. After a while of walking Naruto stopped and looked up in surprise when he saw he was standing in front of a ruined shrine. What surprised him though was the swirl above the entrance, the same one that's on the back of his jacket. What? Said Naruto confused, why would the symbol on his jacket be on this building? Deciding to investigate Naruto slowly walked into the shrine, careful where he stepped not knowing how damaged this place was. Reaching a large set of wooden doors, Naruto pushed them open finding himself looking at a wall of different masks with ornate black flames painted below them. Naruto wasn't sure what it was, but he felt a cold chill run up his spine, sensing a darkness resonating from the masks, or at least one of them. Whatever it was Naruto wanted to get away from it and quickly walked further into the temple away from the dark presence. Entering another room Naruto stopped when he saw another mask this time resting on a stone altar with a few other objects around it. But the mask was a large double-sided crescent-shaped blade, a dagger flute with 3 holes in it, 3 small dark-colored crystal balls with animal figurines within it, one of a wolf, another of a hammerhead shark, and the last was an alligator. The mask itself was shaped like a wolf, but Naruto could still feel something off about it, not as bad as the dark feeling he got from the other masks, but close to it. Unsure of what else to do Naruto grabbed the mask looking it over not seeing anything wrong with it. What's the worst that could happen? Naruto thought putting the mask on his face. Next all Naruto knew was darkness. Next morning. Where's Kakashi-sensei and that baka? Shouted Sakura in anger. She and Sasuke had been waiting for 3 hours for their sensei and teammate, while Sakura didn't care if Naruto showed up or not as it gave her private time with her Sasuke-kun. Sasuke just didn't care. Yo. Said Kakashi with a salute and eye smile. You're late. Sakura screeched, which Kakashi promptly ignored frowning when he didn't see his third student. Where's Naruto? Questioned Kakashi. Who cares where that baka is? Sakura said, Sasuke not saying anything. Now Sakura, that's no way to talk about your teammate. Kakashi chastised. Funny, considering you had no problem leaving me tied up. A voice said getting all their attention. They saw it was a teen with spiky jet black hair, amber eyes with slit pupils, pale skin, wearing black steel-toed boots, black form-fitting pants, black fingerless gloves, a burnt orange shirt, and a black leather jacket zipped up with long coattails. Though what stood out the most were the jagged whisker marks, 3 on each cheek. Naruto. Said Kakashi shocked at his students. Who else? Naruto said. What's with the new look dope, finally deciding to act serious? Sasuke taunted. I don't know Sasuke, have you decided not be buried up to your neck anymore? Retorted Naruto, Sasuke scowling at the reminder. Naruto baka stopped trying to act cooler than Sasuke-kun. Sakura shouted charging at Naruto preparing to hit him. Naruto sidestepped the sloppy punch and Sakura stumbled to ground. Growling Sakura prepared to get up to hit Naruto again for getting her dress dirty, but before she could she screamed in pain when Naruto stomped his boot on her back and stabbed a large crescent blade into the ground dangerously close to her face. Leaning in close Sakura gulped when she saw Naruto's eyes glow dangerously, possessing none of the usual affection he has for her. Let me make this very clear for you, Pinky, I'm not your punching bag anymore. You raise your fist against me again, be prepared to lose it. Remember that next time you try hitting me, you stupid, worthless, sorry excuse for a kunoichi. But please try hitting me, see what happens. Naruto growled, Sakura shaking in fear. Naruto, that's enough, get off your teammate. Ordered Kakashi. Stay out of this trash. Said Naruto. What did you just say? Kakashi said, narrowing his visible eye. You heard me, I called you trash because that's what you are. You talk about how those who abandon their friends or teammates are trash, well, you all left me tied up yesterday with no way to untie myself, therefore you, the emo, and his fangirl are all trash. Said Naruto, Kakashi frowning and Sasuke glaring at him. That doesn't matter, you let Sakura go and address me as sensei, Genin. Kakashi said, pulling rank, making Naruto scoff, but getting up. You know, it's funny how you reprimand me for defending myself, but not Sakura for trying to punch me. Then again, I guess that just proves you're like the rest, trash sensei. Said Naruto, returning his blade to its storage seal. Okay team, today we'll be working on teamwork exercises and doing a couple D-rank missions. Let's go. Kakashi said, choosing to ignore what Naruto said. Both Sasuke and Sakura followed Kakashi, Naruto hung back creating a shadow clone. Go. Ordered Naruto, as the shadow clone followed the others while Naruto went the other way. Like hell, he was doing other people's chores. Time skip a week. A week has passed since Team 7's formation, and he could not have been any worse. Kakashi hasn't taught them anything useful besides teamwork exercises, which were useless considering Sasuke and Sakura hated Naruto. Naruto didn't care about his teammates, and Sakura only cheered Sasuke on and not bothering to train. Though Naruto was aware of Kakashi giving Sasuke private lessons, lowering his already poor opinion of the Cyclops. Not that he cared what Haddock and the Uchiha did, considering Naruto had been sending a shadow clone to all team meetings, while Naruto himself had been focusing on his training. Which was improved greatly when he learned everything a shadow clone learns is transferred back to the original, allowing Naruto to get several months worth of training done in only a few days. He brushed up on his taijutsu, began practicing kenjutsu, and working to master his elemental affinities. It was simple for Naruto creating 2,000 clones, having 500 work on taijutsu, another 500 work on kenjutsu, another 500 reading up on everything he should have learned in the academy, and anything else useful, finally the last 500 split between his affinities. While the real Naruto did physical exercises of 10 laps around the village, 200 push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups, all while having gravity seals on his body and clothes. Safe to say Naruto quickly rose to being the strongest in his age group and more than a few chunin. Currently the real Naruto stood with his team in the Hokage's office. The reason Naruto was here rather than a clone was because he learned Haddock planned to take them on a C-rank mission and Naruto wanted to test his skills. Looking at the Hokage, Naruto couldn't deny the satisfaction he felt when he saw the old man wince when his eyes fell on Naruto. It was understandable considering the conversation they had the morning after his transformation. Flashback. Naruto, are you sure you want this as your new ninja license picture? Sarutobi asked, hesitantly looking between Naruto and his new picture. While he had wanted Naruto to retake his picture without the face paint, he wasn't sure wearing a transformation was any better, not knowing this was Naruto's new appearance. Yes, I thought it best to start acting like a shinobi rather than a child. Said Naruto blankly. Very well, if that's all, Naruto. Sarutobi said. Actually, there is one more thing I wanted to ask Hokage-sama. Naruto said, Hiruzen's head shooting up at that since Naruto's never referred to him as Hokage-sama before. What is it, Naruto? Questioned Hiruzen worriedly. Why didn't you ever tell me about the Uzumaki clan? Naruto said. Out of all the questions Sarutobi thought he'd ask, this was one of the ones he was hoping he wouldn't hear. What are you talking about, Naruto? There is no Uzumaki clan. Sarutobi said nervously, Naruto nodding and humming as if in agreement. No Uzumaki clan, huh? So, the Shodaime Hokage didn't have a wife named Mito Uzumaki, Kumo, Iwa, and Kiri didn't work together to destroy a village called Yuzushiogakure, and the swirls on the back of flak jackets are just for decoration. But like you said, there's no Uzumaki clan, just like you said you never said you didn't know why everyone hated me. Oh wait. Said Naruto, while the Hokage grew paler with each accusation. Naruto, please let me explain. Save your excuses, Hokage-sama, I've heard enough of them. The only thing I want to know is, did you ever plan on telling me? Naruto questioned. Of course. I planned to tell you when you were older and mature enough to handle the news. Said Sarutobi. And how old would I have to be when I was mature enough to handle it, huh? 20, 30, or maybe when you were long dead and I remained ignorant? Naruto retorted. I would have left instructions to my successors to inform you. Replied Hiruzen. And you really believe anyone in this village would have told me about the Kyuubi or my clan? They'd be more likely to laugh behind my back at my ignorance, turn me into a mindless weapon, or finally kill the demon brat. I don't whether you're delusional or just plain stupid," said Naruto, Sarutobi frowning at the insult. "Naruto, despite what you may think, I have always had your best interests and I am still your commanding officer," Sarutobi said. "No, you've had this village's best interests. If you cared you would have told me a long time ago, but you didn't. Why were you afraid that I might leave if I found out I had a clan, that you'd lose your precious Jinchuriki, or maybe beneath all that kindness and grandfather persona you hate me just like everyone else in this village and you loved the fact that I was alone believing I was abandoned because no one would want a demon for a son," said Naruto. "How do I know you haven't kept other things from me, like who my parents?" Naruto said with the Hokage flinching all the confirmation he needed. "That's what I thought. Let me make something very clear to you, Hiruzen Sarutobi, we're not friends, we're not family, I want nothing to do with you anymore, the only time I will interact with you is to receive missions. Nothing more, nothing less," said Naruto turning to leave. "Naruto, I'm sorry," Sarutobi said, Naruto pausing and grabbing the door. Turning his head, the Hokage saw a single glowing yellow eye. "Save it for someone who cares," said Naruto exiting the office. Then flashback. The thought of that meeting still hurt the aged Hokage, not for the fact Naruto tore into him and all but said he hated him. But the fact the entire time Naruto never once faltered, not giving away any sign of what he was feeling, maintaining the perfect poker face. It would have been easier if Naruto had gotten angry, since Naruto was usually terrible at hiding his emotions, the Hokage would have been able to handle it better. Instead, Naruto remained in control the entire time and verbally destroyed one of the strongest people alive. "Team 7 here for a C-rank mission, Hokage-sama," Kakashi said, reading his customary orange book, snapping the Hokage from his thoughts. "Right, I have one for you. An escort mission to the land of ancestors. You can meet the client at the gate in an hour," said the Hokage. "Alright team, go get packed and meet the gate in an hour," said Kakashi. Later. Naruto walked towards the gate, having finished grabbing his scrolls which had all his supplies sealed up, and saw an old man standing a small caravan of carts. "Are you the client for the mission?" said Naruto looking at the old man, who turned to see Naruto. "Yes, are you one of the ninja that'll be protecting us on our trip to the land of ancestors?" the man asked. "I am, the rest of my team should be here soon," replied Naruto. "So why are you heading to the land of ancestors?" Naruto asked, wanting to get information on this mission. "Well, I'm an archaeologist and I wish to explore some ruins there. I have already set up an excavation site but needed more workers and tools. You know, it's even rumored that the land of ancestors was the birthplace of the Sage of Six Paths, just imagines what kind of artifacts could have been left behind," the man said, with Naruto raising a brow. "And you're hoping to see if the sage left anything behind after his time?" "Well, anything useful," said Naruto, the man nodding. "Indeed, anything that might shed some light on the first god of shinobi. By the way, my name is Tenji," introduced Tenji. "Naruto," Naruto replied. They descended into silence until finally the rest of Team 7 arrived. "Naruto Baka, what are you doing?" Kakashi-sensei said to get packed. Screeched Sakura, Naruto turning to her boredly. "It's called a storage scroll, useful little thing, so one doesn't have to carry around heavy bags. I'd have thought the smartest genin Kunoichi would know." Naruto mocked, wrinkling his nose in disgust. He could smell all of the makeup and beauty products in her bag, how she became a Kunoichi Naruto will never know. Sakura turned red in embarrassment and reared her fist back, prepared to hit Naruto. "Mama, Naruto, be nice to your teammates. Now that everyone's here, let's go," said Kakashi, stopping Sakura. Releasing a TSK, Naruto walked forward as the caravan began moving forward, all while sliding his flute dagger back up his sleeve, not that anyone noticed. Time skip 6 days, land ancestors. 6 days have passed since Team 7 set out to the land of ancestors and haven't encountered any trouble, aside from the occasional bandit, though they were easily dispatched. They were now in the land of ancestors, which didn't have much besides a few forests, rivers, grassy plains, hills, and some mountains in the distance. It left Naruto a little underwhelmed that the Sage of Six Paths home country was too boring. Seriously, you'd think there'd be something here, Naruto thought in annoyance. "Ah, we've finally arrived," said Tenji, snapping Naruto from his thoughts. Looking, he saw they were at the excavation site, where several people were already hard at work digging through an unearthed village. "Alright team, form a perimeter around the site and keep in radio contact," ordered Kakashi, getting a nod and HN from Sakura and Sasuke respectively, while Naruto just walked away. Naruto looked around the excavated village, a little surprised the buildings were still in relatively good condition. He soon arrived at a small compound with a large house and a few smaller buildings, all enclosed in a fenced area. He also found Tenji sorting through several old books and scrolls. "Ah, Naruto-san. Come here and look at these," said Tenji, spotting Naruto and waving him over. Going over, Naruto got a closer look at the scrolls, most looking to be about history. Look, if I'm right, these could possibly date back to before even the clan wars. Here, look for yourself, said Tenji, excitedly handing Naruto one before he could say anything. Growling a little at the scroll being shoved in his hands like that, Naruto looked it over. Most of the writing was ineligible, but he could still make out a few words. Asura Indra Hagoromo Otsutsuki. Otsutsuki, maybe a clan. Naruto wondered. So, Tenji, you mind telling me what you left out of the mission request? Asked Naruto, skimming through the scroll while noticing Tenji flinch a little. I don't know what you mean, Tenji said, Naruto hearing his heartbeat pick up a little, showing he was lying. My teammates might not be very observant, Tenji, but I am. The entire time we were traveling you were tense, jumping at every noise and always looking around as if expecting someone to jump out. So, tell me. What? You left out? Naruto repeated, Tenji sighing in acceptance. Well, you see, while my profession might not be the most dangerous, it sometimes attracts the wrong attention whenever I discover some artifact that others may consider useful to themselves. Well, when word got out that I was planning an excavation to what might be the homeland of the Sage of Six Paths, let's just say some less than savory characters wanted to join for their own benefit. Tenji explained. The Singnin? Guessed Naruto. Yes. They offered protection to me and my workers in exchange for anything of value we might find. I rejected the offer, but they didn't take kindly to that before leaving. So, while I did go to Konoha for more workers and supplies, I also wished to hire a team of ninja in case those missing nin showed. I didn't mention this as I wasn't sure if the Hokage would still accept the mission or not, said Tenji, Naruto nodding. Understandable, considering a Kage always puts their village first and damning everyone else, Naruto said. I'm guessing you don't really like the Hokage, may I ask why? Asked Tenji. I was told one too many lies, replied Naruto shortly. So, any idea where these missing nin are from? Naruto asked. I don't. They wore headbands much like the ones you and your team wear, if memory serves. The plates depicted 4 lines evenly spaced apart, said Tenji. Naruto searched through his memories to figure out which village it could be, realizing that it was a Megakure. Strange, if I recall, AIM doesn't have any missing nin. It's likely they were sent on a mission by their leader to retrieve any artifacts they might find under the guise of missing nin. Naruto surmised as a breeze brushed against his face and he inhaled deeply. Looking to the side, his eyes glowed and he saw the 4 figures hiding through the trees. Idiots. Thought Naruto, he'll handle them later. So, anything you can tell me about the land of ancestors, any interesting sights? Asked Naruto. Not much really, no one stays long enough to settle. As for sights, well, the only one I can really think of would be the peaks of Demise, over there, see them? Tenji said, pointing to the south where Naruto saw a large grouping of mountains. Something over there, it's powerful. Naruto thought, knowing he'll go there when the time presents itself. Later. Naruto stared up at the full moon, admiring its beauty, all while still keeping his senses sharp for the AIM ninja lurking in the shadows. While he could have easily snuck off and dealt with them earlier, he waited to see what they'd do. The fact that they hadn't just charged out means at least one of them was smart enough to not recklessly engage an unknown enemy, even if 3 of them were children. Doesn't matter, the results will be the same. Thought Naruto, knowing before the night is done they'll all be dead. Standing up, Naruto saw that everyone had gone to sleep and he knew now was the time to act. Pulling out his flute dagger, Naruto held it up to his mouth and began playing a haunting melody. With AIM ninja. Hidden in the trees were 4 AIM ninja, 3 genin and 1 jonin, having been sent on this mission by their leader Pain to retrieve any artifacts left behind by the Sage of Six Paths. The leader of the team was Aoi Rakusho, a missing nin from Konoha and the one responsible for stealing the Nidaime Hokage's Raijin no Ken. Aoi thought the mission would have been easy, threaten the leader of the expedition to handing over all the artifacts they find, kill any witnesses, then get back to AIM. Now, however, things became complicated with Kakashi Haddock here. While Aoi was confident he could handle him with a Raijin no Ken, he couldn't risk the chance of Haddock sending a message back to Konoha for backup, complicating the mission. Suddenly Aoi was pulled from his thoughts when he heard something along with a fog appearing out of nowhere. The sound increased in volume and Aoi thought it sounded like flute music. Thought Aoi, confused of where the music was coming from. Just then they heard a strangled cry from Kagari and turned immediately to see him, but the 3 were shocked to see a deep slash going across his chest before he fell over dead. Defensive formation. Ordered Aoi as he and the remaining 2 genin stood back to back looking around for who could have attacked them. Suddenly Mubi was thrown away and Aoi could only see a black blur before Mubi was bisected. Who's there? Oboro shouted in fear, backing away when a large curved black blade emerged from his chest. When the sword was pulled out, Aoi finally got a look at what had attacked his team and he wished he hadn't. The demon, as that's the only thing Aoi could think it was, had the appearance of a wolf garbed in night black armor, with a yellow gem in the middle of its belt, long grey hair coming out of the back of its head, and wielding a large crescent blade resting on its shoulder. All in all, Aoi had never seen anything like this before and wished he hadn't. What are you, what in the hell are you? Aoi shouted, backing away. I am the Duke Wolf, Zenaku. And I am your death. Said Zenaku, pointing his blade at Aoi. Saint, stay back. Said Aoi, pulling out the Raijin and activating it, feeling more confident with the blade. Do you think that toy will stop me? Zenaku said, walking towards Aoi. Ha! You can't beat me, with the Raijin I'm invincible. Shouted Aoi, assured of his success against this beast. Very well, let's see how the Raijin no Ken stands against a blade of wind. Said Zenaku, channeling chakra through his blade and began spinning it around. Wind style. Crescent blade, crescent wave. Zenaku shouted, launching several blades of wind at Aoi. Aoi, confident in his sword's power, slashed at the blades of wind. Though he was shocked when the wind blades passed through the Raijin and slashed into body. Aoi had only a second to register the attack before blood exploded out of the slash wounds. How? Aoi muttered in shock. This didn't make sense, how could he have been beaten? With the Raijin he was invincible. You were so assured of that sword's power you forgot the fact wind beats lightning, and the fact just because you have a powerful weapon makes you strong. It just made you weak. Zenaku said, picking up the deactivated Raijin, while Aoi was still in shock. Don't worry, I'll make sure to find a worthy wielder of this blade. You can die with that knowledge. Said Zenaku, as Aoi finally bled out. Storing away the Raijin and his own blade in a storage seal, Zenaku pulled out his flute dagger and began playing, vanishing in a swirl of wind to his next destination. Peaks of demise. Reappearing, Zenaku put away the instrument and looked around, finding himself in a large valley surrounded by mountains. Though what truly held his attention was the truly massive tree stump with large twisted dragon-shaped roots surrounding it in the very center of the valley. What is this? What could have possibly grown to be this large? Zenaku wondered out loud, preparing to approach the stump. Though before he could take a single step he fell to one knee, holding his head in pain. No, not now. Groaned Zenaku as his body began changing, becoming more human. When the change finished, in Zenaku's place was Naruto Uzumaki, panting from exhaustion. Damn it, even after training as Zenaku for weeks I still can't stay in that form for long. Naruto thought. He had also been training as Zenaku, trying to extend the time he could remain as the Duke Wolf. So far, he could remain in that form for 10 minutes. But Naruto was trying to make so he could stay as Zenaku for as long as possible, along with shortening the time it took to transform. Problems for later, for now I need to focus on whatever the hell this is. Naruto thought, turning his attention back to the large stump. Approaching it, Naruto couldn't help but marvel at the sheer size of it, making him wonder just how large the tree that used to grow from it was. Though the closer Naruto got to it, he couldn't deny the dread creeping up on him. Being this close to it, he could feel the chakra it was radiating, as if the entire tree was made of chakra. What are you? Wondered Naruto, reaching out a hand and touching one of the roots. That had been a mistake, as his mind was assaulted by several different visions of a white-haired woman eating a fruit, a red eye with 3 concentric rings and 9 tomos, 2 men fighting the woman, a man with purple eyes giving people chakra, and finally a monstrous creature with 10 giant tails, unleashing an earth-shattering roar. Before it ended, Naruto heard a voice echo in his mind. Absorb me. The god tree, the 10 tails. Absorb everything. Naruto pulled his hand back, gasping at what he just saw and heard. What the hell? Naruto thought, looking at the tree in shock. His shock only increased when a pathway opened up through the roots, hesitant to go down an unknown path, though considering the last time he went into an unknown location he got Zenaku, so maybe he'll get something useful here as well. Though just to be safe, thought Naruto, unsealing his crescent blade. Walking down the path the roots, Naruto kept his senses sharp for any movement. Eventually he came to an open area in what Naruto could guess was directly under the stump, given all the roots going in and out the walls. In the center of the room was a pedestal with a large scroll, one Naruto recognized as a summoning scroll. What's this doing here? Naruto wondered, sealing his blade now that he sees there's no immediate threat. Going over to the scroll, Naruto lifted it up to see what contract it could be, finding the kanji for the animal summons on the front. Direwolves. Said Naruto, a little surprised, having never heard of a direwolf contract. Then again, the only summons ever mentioned in the Konoha library are the snake, toad, slug, dog, and monkey contracts, which Naruto found a little arrogant, as if they ignored the fact there were other summoning contracts. Though Naruto had to decide if he wanted to sign it, considering he already had his wizards. Then again, it would be useful to have summons to fall back. Naruto thought. Also, the fact he couldn't think of a better summons for the Duke Wolf to use. I should probably get back now. Thought Naruto, sealing the scroll away. No need to let his team find out. Team 7 walked through the gates having finally reached Konoha, returning from their mission in the land of ancestors. After Naruto had killed the AIM team and found the dire wolf contract, he had returned to the excavation site before anyone woke up. While the mission had technically ended with Tenji being escorted to the site and the enemy team dead, they stayed for a week. The reason being Naruto didn't tell anyone what he did as he saw no reason to. Plus, he wanted to see if he could find anything else of use. Sadly, though Naruto did not find anything else, though did copy down the few eligible books and scrolls as they could prove useful in the future. After being paid for the mission, Team 7 had began the trip back to Konoha, and now they were back. "Alright team, head home while I report to the Hokage," said Kakashi, shining away. Naruto didn't hear this as he had already vanished in a swirl of wind, reappearing in his apartment. Once he was inside, Naruto unsealed the dire wolf contract and unrolled it and saw that no one else had ever signed it. How long was this scroll under that tree? Naruto wondered. Shrugging, Naruto bit his thumb and wrote down his name in the first slot before pressing his fingertips below his signature. Though as soon as that was done, Naruto vanished in a puff of smoke. Dark forest. When Naruto reappeared, he was confused when he found himself in a forest with large towering trees, big enough to make the Hokage monument seem small in comparison, and a full moon overhead. Where am I? Thought Naruto, looking around before noticing something. All around him were glowing yellow eyes gazing at him from the darkness, a few releasing growls at him. That's when Naruto realized he must be the dire wolf summons land, and he was currently surrounded by direwolves. Looking at the dozens of wolves, Naruto didn't show any fear, gazing at each of them before leveling them with a menacing stare, a growl reverberating in his throat while his eyes glowed. A few of the direwolves backed down, others stood strong, and a few even looked at Naruto with what he could guess was respect. Suddenly a loud howl rang through the forest, and all the wolves instantly scattered, while Naruto felt the ground began shaking. Soon Naruto saw the trees began moving back and forth when suddenly the biggest wolf Naruto had ever seen jumped through the trees, landing right in front of Naruto. The wolf had a pitch black fur coat, razor-sharp fangs, claws that looked strong enough to shred steel, and deep crimson red eyes. "Who are you to enter the domain of the direwolf clan? Speak before I devour you," growled the wolf threateningly. "I am Naruto Uzumaki, the Duke Wolf, and now your summoner," Naruto said evenly, the large direwolf releasing a bark of laughter. "Ha! You believe just because you have signed our contract we will let you summon any of us? No, if you wish to be our summoner, Duke Wolf, you must prove you have an alpha's strength," the wolf said before locking eyes with Naruto. Naruto remained completely still, never once breaking eye contact, all while feeling like the wolf was looking straight into his soul. So you have a strong will. Very well, I will allow you to summon members of my pack. I am Fenrir, alpha of the direwolf contract. But make no mistake, if you summon me it better be a worthy opponent, if not I will feed you to the cubs," said Fenrir. "Thank you, Fenrir, I will do my best to prove myself a worthy summoner," Naruto said. "We will see," said Fenrir, stalking back into the forest while Naruto vanished in a puff of smoke. Time skip 1 month. A month has passed since Naruto signed the direwolf contract, and he has since gotten back into training, with the addition of summoning different direwolves to train with, so when he does summon them in the future they'll work better together. He also continued to send a clone to team meetings and for D-rank missions, finding it mildly amusing that neither his teammates or Kakashi have noticed. Currently Naruto himself was leaning against a bridge railing, Sasuke and Sakura off to the side, as they all waited for Kakashi to arrive. Naruto came himself rather than send a clone, as during the last meeting, Kakashi said he had something important to discuss with them. Though of course he arrived only a few minutes ago, rather than waiting 3 hours like his teammates did. You'd think they'd learn by now, thought Naruto in amusement, seeing how irritated Sasuke and Sakura at Kakashi's lack of appearance. "Yo," said Kakashi, appearing in a puff of smoke. "You're late," Sakura shouted. "Sorry, a black cat crossed my path, so I had to take the long way," Kakashi said before pulling out 3 forms. "Anyway, I wanted to give you all these, they're slips to enter you in the upcoming chunin exams," said Kakashi, handing them the slips. Sasuke looked eager at the prospect of going against stronger opponents, Sakura looked unsure, while Naruto. "No thanks," said Naruto, handing the slip back, much to Kakashi's surprise. Are you sure, Naruto? If you participate you'll get the chance to fight against genin from other villages," said Kakashi, getting in front of Naruto, who just walked around him. "Don't care," Naruto replied. "You'll also get the chance to be promoted to chunin and get to take higher rank missions," Kakashi added. "If I want to be promoted I'll settle for a field promotion," retorted Naruto, starting to get agitated. "But if you become chunin you'll be one step closer to becoming Hokage," persuaded Kakashi, hoping that would convince Naruto participate. Now scowling, Naruto grabbed the paper, making Kakashi mentally sigh in relief at getting Naruto to participate. Let me make this very clear, Haddock," said Naruto as before Kakashi's eyes the paper was shredded into thousands of tiny pieces. "I am not doing it," Naruto said slowly as if talking to a child before turning on his heel and leaving. "Forget him, if the dope doesn't want to participate, that's his problem," said Sasuke, signing his slip. "Yeah, he just hold us back anyway," Sakura added. Meanwhile Kakashi was sweating bullets. If Naruto didn't participate, then neither could Sasuke and Sakura, and he couldn't exactly force Naruto to enter, as that'd negate the whole purpose of working as a team, especially if Naruto purposefully tried to fail. "I need to see the Hokage," Kakashi thought, shining away. Meanwhile Naruto walked through the village with an annoyed expression. Though he soon stopped and turned around to see a square rock with eye holes following him, he could sense 3 small chakra signatures inside it as well. "Rocks aren't square, and they don't have eye holes either," Naruto stated before the rock exploded. "I think we used too much smoke, guys." A boy coughed. When the smoke cleared, it revealed 3 children, with Naruto recognizing only one as Konohamaru Sarutobi, the Sandame's grandson and his self-proclaimed rival. "What do you want, Konohamaru?" said Naruto as the 3 children looked at him for a moment before jumping up and posing. "I'm Ogi, the cutest girl in preschool. I'm Ute and I like math. And I'm Konohamaru, future Hokage. And together we're the Konohamaru Ninja Squad," all 3 said together. "Why am I reminded of colored spandex wearing teenagers fighting monsters and saving the planet?" thought Naruto. "So, did you want something?" Naruto questioned, as despite his problems with the boy's grandfather, he didn't hate the boy. "Ah, come on boss, aren't you the least bit impressed with our entrance?" said Konohamaru. "No," replied Naruto, causing the 3 to face fault. "If that's all, I'll be on my way," Naruto said before the 3 children ran in front of him. "Wait boss, could you play ninja with us, please?" asked Konohamaru before they were interrupted. "A ninja playing ninja, what kind of loser would do that?" Sakura sneered. "I don't, Sakura, you seem to be playing it well enough," retorted Naruto, making Sakura go red in anger but refrained from trying to hit him, remembering his threat. Guess you can teach him new tricks," Naruto thought. Konohamaru looked between the 2 before smiling widely. "Hey boss, is she your girlfriend?" said Konohamaru, Sakura looking horrified at the thought. "I'd sooner date a ranger than her," Naruto denied, confusing the 3 children. "Yeah, you're right, I mean look at the size of her forehead." Konohamaru laughed, making Sakura growl, cracking her knuckles. While she couldn't hit Naruto because of his sudden increase in power, this little brat was free game. "If I were, I'd start running, Konohamaru," Naruto said, smirking. Confused Konohamaru looked, paling instantly when he saw Sakura stalking towards. Instantly he and his friend started running. "Help. We're being chased by a pink gorilla," shouted Konohamaru. "Get back here, you brats," Sakura demanded, chasing after them. "I wonder if the punishment for attacking the Hokage's grandson is execution," thought Naruto, sighing in bliss at the thought. "The wolf can dream." Following after them, to make sure Sakura didn't do too much damage, he stopped at an alley, seeing Konohamaru being held by a guy wearing a catsuit and makeup. "Watch it, you little brat," the teen shouted. "Put him down, Kankuro, or you'll know what he will do," said the girl next to Kankuro. "Relax, Temari, all I'm gonna do is teach this kid a lesson in manners," Kankuro said, drawing back his fist. Konohamaru closed his eyes in fright, expecting the hit, but it never came. Opening his eyes, he saw Naruto holding his blade at Kankuro's neck. "Let the kid go," Naruto ordered, digging his blade into Kankuro's neck. Kankuro paled when he locked eyes with Naruto, and he could see that he wasn't bluffing. "Yeah, sure man, just take it easy," Kankuro said, setting Konohamaru down, who ran back to his friends. "Good. Now Uchiha and the kid with the gourd get down from the tree," said Naruto. "Naruto Baka, there's no one." Sakura stopped when Sasuke jumped down, and a Redeed with a large gourd on his back appeared in a swirl of sand between a pale Kankuro and Temari. "You were saying?" Naruto said mockingly. "Gaara," Kankuro began. "Shut up before I kill you," said Gaara threateningly, making Kankuro step back. "Forgive my brother for his behavior. I am Gaara no Sabaku, I would like to know who you are," Gaara said, Sasuke smirking, thinking he was talking to him. "I'm Saz. Not you, him," Gaara cut off, pointing to Naruto. "Naruto Uzumaki," introduced Naruto. "Hey, you Suna ninja aren't supposed to be here, you're trespassing," Sakura shrieked, getting 4 looks as if she was stupid. "I apologize for Haruno. I'm sure you 3 are here for the chunin exams," said Naruto. "Are they your teammates?" Temari asked. "Unfortunately," Naruto replied. "I'm sorry for you," said Temari, giving him a sympathetic look at having to deal with those 2. "Will you be participating in the exams, Uzumaki?" Gaara questioned. "No, though if you ever wish to we could have a spar," offered Naruto. Kuro and Temari, behind Gaara, waved their arms at him, showing that would be a very bad idea. I may just take you up on that offer. Until next time, Uzumaki. Kuro, Temari, we're leaving. Said Gaara with a faint smirk before and his siblings left. Naruto soon followed, shining away. Main gate. Stupid pedo snake and his four-eyed fuck buddy. Grumbled an irritated Redeed as she walked through the gates into Konoha. The Redeed in question was none other than Teiya of the Sound Four, an elite group that act as bodyguards for Orochimaru. Not that anyone here would know that. The reason for her irritation was due to the fact rather than being with her teammates, not that she liked any of the bastards guarding Orochimaru, she had been chosen to infiltrate Konoha as a civilian to watch the chunin exams. She chosen due to the fact out of all the Sound Four, she was the most normal looking. It's not even she hated the mission, what she hated was that she had to pretend to be a weak little civilian girl, and she hated looking weak. Maybe I'll find a nice quiet place to play. Teiya thought, reaching into her pouch grabbing her flute. If there's one thing that never failed to calm her down, it was playing her flute. So, with her mind made up, she headed towards where she knew the training grounds would be located, Orochimaru having taught them the layout of the village to better get around it. Eventually she arrived at a deserted training ground, the only sound she could hear was that of a river. Sighing in relief, Teiya was about to pull her flute out and start playing when she heard something else, though it wasn't the sound of someone training. Is that music? Teiya thought. Zenaku flute's song. That was a beautiful melody, with a haunting undertone. Following where the music was coming from, she soon saw a kid around her age dressed all in black sitting on a rock by the river. She couldn't see his face, but could see he was playing a strangely shaped flute. Looks like a dagger. Thought Teiya, the corners of her mouth twitching up. A dagger flute, she'll have to look into getting one. Teiya remained hidden listening to the music, never noticing the amber eyes that turned to look at her. Soon the song came to an end and Teiya opened her eyes, never realizing she closed them, and saw she was now looking directly into amber eyes. For a moment neither said anything, while Teiya took in the boy's appearance, wild spiky black hair, pale skin, 3 jagged whisker marks, and stoic amber eyes with slit pupils gazing at her, though she could see a spark of amusement in them. Did you like it? The boy asked. Yeah, it was really beautiful. Teiya said honestly without her usual crassness. Well, thank you, do you play? Questioned the boy. Yes, for as long as I could remember. Replied Teiya, pulling out her flute. I've only recently started. By the way, I'm Naruto. Introduced Naruto, getting up and walking over to her. Teiya. Teiya replied. Naruto smiled before grabbing Teiya's hand and kissing it. Pleasure to meet you, Teiya. Naruto said. Teiya merely gave him a blank look, taking her hand back. If you're expecting me to blush like some prissy little girl, you'll have to try a lot harder than that shithead. Teiya said. She may like his flute playing, but she wasn't going to swoon over him like some fangirl. But if you were like that, I'd have already left. Responded Naruto, smirking. So, what brings you to Konoha? Naruto asked. Me and my family are here to see the upcoming chunin exams. Are you a participant? I'm only asking because you have a forehead protector. Said Teiya, acting the part of a naive civilian. No, I'm not participating, though I'm sure my teammates will be. Naruto said, his hands clasped behind him. But it's required for all team members to enter. Said Teiya before mentally cursing herself. Naruto gave Teiya a side glance, curious how a civilian knew such information. Of course, he wasn't foolish enough to believe she was just a mere civilian, given the way he could see her shoulders tense up every so often, her high chunin level chakra pools, and the scent of blood on her. Though he wasn't going to call her out on it. True, but knowing Haddock, he'll find a way to get his precious Uchiha into the exams. Sneered Naruto. Uchiha? Ah, you gotta be kidding me, he's the pink-eyed emo's teammate. But wait, I thought the Uchiha's teammate was some blonde loudmouth. Teiya thought, looking at Naruto and trying to picture him as what Orochimaru's report said he was supposed to look like. So, I'm guessing you don't get along with your team. Stated Teiya. Nope. My teammates see me as dead weight, my sensei plays favorites with the Uchiha, and I honestly don't care about them. Naruto said. That made Teiya grimace. While she knew none of the Sound Four liked each other, they were at least able to put aside their differences to work together. Or more accurately, they were afraid of what Orochimaru would do to them should they ever mess up. Well, see you later, shithead. Said Teiya, turning to walk away. Can I hear you play sometime? Naruto asked before she got far. Turning her head, Teiya gave him a smirk. Maybe if you're lucky enough. Said Teiya before exiting the training ground, leaving an amused Naruto. Time skip 3 days. 3 days had passed since Naruto met Teiya, and things had been relatively normal, though strangely enough, Kakashi hadn't called a team meeting since he rejected the chance to enter the chunin exams. Not that Naruto was complaining, as he'd prefer not seeing his team, even if only through his clone's memories. Naruto was currently walking through the village before suddenly froze in place. Quickly he unsealed his blade and turned around, slashing at a black and white lion which dissolved upon being hit. Think. Naruto thought with a frown, seeing the remains of the lion. His danger senses flared again as he jumped into the air, seeing more ink creatures, going through hand signs, made a claw motion with his hand. Wind style. Tearing claws. Naruto said, swiping his hand, unleashing claw-shaped blades of wind that sliced through the creatures. That seems like that last of them. Now where's the creator? There. Naruto thought, spotting someone sitting on a rooftop with a scroll and brush out. Don't even think about it, said Naruto, appearing behind the stranger with his blade at their neck before they could draw more creatures. What? I didn't even see him move. The stranger thought before seeing the Naruto in front of him phased out of existence. To be able to move at such speeds, to leave an afterimage several moments after moving. Amazing, thought the stranger. Swift style. Afterimage jutsu. Naruto thought, smirking. Getting up, ignoring the blade at his throat, the stranger turned to Naruto. Ah, forgive me, I simply wish to test your fighting abilities, the stranger said with a fake smile, making Naruto raise a brow. Out of everything Naruto expected, that wasn't one of them. Though he did take a step away from the person. Who are you? Questioned Naruto, getting back on topic. Forgive me, I am Sai, your replacement for Team 7. It is nice to meet Naruto-kun. Sai introduced with that same fake smile. So, that explains why Haddock hasn't called any team meetings. Strangely, I'm not surprised, Naruto thought. Good for you, though if you want my advice, watch your back around the Uchiha and his lapdog, otherwise they won't hesitate to drive a kunai through it to save themselves, said Naruto. Thank you for the advice, but I don't believe I have to worry about Ugly unless they were both very weak when I tested them, replied Sai, Naruto snorting in amusement. Careful, new guy, people might think you have a sense of humor, Naruto said, vanishing in a swirl of wind. He is stronger than he lets on, Danzo-sama must be informed, thought Sai, shining away. Hokage's office. Sarutobi was hard at work organizing the chunin exams with all the foreign teams and delegations that will arrive for the finals. So when was I going to be informed I wasn't on Team 7 anymore? Naruto's voice cut through, shocking the Hokage, having not sensed him. Though when his words sunk in, ears impaled. Now Naruto. After the chunin exams, during the exams, and I was asked why I wasn't with my team, or maybe you never intended to tell me and let me remain ignorant. That's what you do best, isn't it, Hokage-sama, leaving me in the dark about everything? Interrupted Naruto. If you would just. You know something, I'm not even mad or upset, as really this isn't a surprise. Haddock made it no secret he favored the Uchiha, and Kami forbid anyone from stopping the precious Uchiha not getting what he wants. But really, I should thank the Scarecrow and you as well for agreeing to replace me, it'd make this decision a whole lot easier, Naruto said. Then to Sarutobi's shock and horror, Naruto ripped his forehead protector off before snapping it in half and throwing it on the Hokage's desk. Consider that my resignation, said Naruto before leaving the door slamming closed, causing the picture of the yondaime to fall and hit the floor. Hiruzen couldn't help but find it symbolic, with Naruto breaking both his headband and his father's portrait, but moreover he was fearful of what this could mean for the future. With Naruto. Blind style. Crescent wave, said Naruto, unleashing a blade of wind against a training post, slicing it to pieces. What's got your panties in a twist? A familiar voice asked, looking. Naruto saw Taiya leaning against a tree. Taiya. Naruto nodded in greeting. Sup, shithead. Now I'll ask again, what's your problem? Taiya repeated. Nothing, just my sensei threw a fit about me not participating in the chunin exams, so got a replacement, said Naruto, shrugging. You're kidding, said Taiya. Nope, learned it from said replacement when they attacked me as a test I just got back from turning in my headband, said Naruto, surprising Taiya. You quit being a ninja. Why? Asked Taiya. I had no interest in serving a village that has no problem in replacing someone when they don't instantly bow to the whims of others. Besides, this way they can't touch me, as now I'm technically a civilian, I can leave whenever I want, Naruto said with a smirk. And are you? Taiya questioned, wondering if she could persuade him to join Odo. Not yet, maybe after the chunin exams. After that, I don't know, I don't like staying in one place for too long, said Naruto, which was true, as the only reason he stayed in Konoha for so long was because he had nowhere else to go. Now he didn't care where he went, but one thing he knew for certain was he would never be chained ever again. Wind style. Great breakthrough. Water style. Water bullet. Lightning style. Lightning beast tracking fang. Naruto and two of his clones unleashed the three jutsu at the three training posts, the great breakthrough blasting through one of them and uplifting the surrounding ground, the water bullet carving a chunk out the second, and the lightning beast tracking fang, leaving claw and scorch marks on the third. Aya whistled in amazement at watching the three destructive jutsu. It was rare she saw another person with a wind affinity, the only other she knew possessing one being Orochimaru. Even rarer to meet a person that has multiple elemental affinities. 5 days have passed since Naruto turned in his headband. Since then he has either spent his time training or hanging out with Taya. Despite knowing each other for a short amount of time, Naruto has grown to consider Taya precious to him. It was strange they hardly knew each other or anything about the other, yet they both felt comfortable around each other. Taya found it a little unnerving. She was normally distrustful towards anyone she meets, besides her friend Kin, but around Naruto, she found it easy to relax and drop her guard. For Naruto, he didn't really question why he trusted Taya, he just trusted his instincts, and they told him she wasn't a threat to him. Though neither would deny it was nice to have someone to talk to, for Taya not having to go crazy waiting for the invasion, or if she'll be discovered, captured, and interrogated. While Naruto simply didn't care enough for anyone in Konoha to talk with them. Besides spending time with Taya, Naruto also focused on training, doing the same regimen he had started since acquiring his new powers, though he created an additional 100 clones to begin learning Fuinjutsu. It was an art hardly anyone practiced or knew about, but Naruto figured if Fuinjutsu was powerful enough to seal the Kyuubi, it was definitely worth learning. Though turns out he seemed to have a natural affinity for seals. It didn't surprise him, as from what he knew Uzumaki were feared for their skill in Fuinjutsu and Kinjutsu. His elemental training was also coming along nicely. He's now mastered the basics of wind, lightning, and water. Now he's working on combining the elements two together into sub-elements. Aya had been shocked and amazed the first time she saw him create over 2,000 shadow clones, not able to believe he could create so many, and doubting even Orochimaru could create half as many. Dispelling the 2 clones mentally commanded the rest of his clones to begin dispelling in groups of 10s between 5-minute intervals. While the memory feedback was a great way to train, if too many clones dispelled at once it could cause a memory overload. Already shithead. Taya said, getting out from under the tree she had been sitting under. Yeah, I've already trained a good long while. That and I don't like spies. Said Naruto, shouting the latter part, making Taya stiffen, thinking he knew about her. Why don't you lot come out before I make you? Naruto said. What? Taya thought, confused. Though it became clear when 8 Anbu wearing blank masks with the kanji for no on them jumped out and surrounded Naruto. Naruto, Uzumaki, our master wishes to speak with you, come quietly or we will use force. 1 Anbu said blankly. HMPH, really? 8 Anbu sent to capture me, that doesn't seem fair. Said Naruto, summoning his blade. Then you will come quietly and you and your friend will not be harmed. The same Anbu said, Naruto smirking in response. Suddenly 3 of the Anbu's ankles were grabbed and pulled underground up to their necks, before their heads were removed from their shoulders by 3 clones emerging from the ground. I meant fair for you. Swift style. After image jutsu. Naruto said, vanishing in a burst of speed before suddenly reappearing all around the Anbu, attacking from various angles, all while leaving several after images. Whoa. Taya thought, not able to tell where the real Naruto was and what were after images as they were all in constant motion. She was also relieved that Naruto appears to have this handled. Well, she can't blow her cover, she also wasn't about to allow her friend, she guessed, to be taken by these bastards. Though Taya's danger senses immediately flared, forcing her to jump back. Looking, she saw 5 more Anbu with their sword drawn. Fucking perfect. Taya muttered, standing up and pulling out her flute. Fine then, you dumbasses wanna play, I'll play you all a melody of death. Demonic flute. Phantom sound chains. Taya said before beginning to play her flute and casting her Jinjutsu. The effect was instant as the Anbu became frozen in place, making Taya smirk that the idiots didn't have the brains to wear earplugs or anything to block sound. Take this lesson with you to hell, don't confront an opponent you know nothing about, you damn trash. Taya sneered before going and slitting each of their throats. Ahem. Stopping, Taya turned and saw Naruto surrounded by dead Anbu and covering his ears, though she could still see hints of blood leaking out. Next time give a warning before doing that. Naruto growled out. He already had sensitive hearing, after merging with Zenaku it only increased. So, the attack she just did might as well have been nails on a chalkboard for him. Now you want to explain why an apparent civilian knows sound-based Jinjutsu strong enough to incapacitate several Anbu. And don't try lying, I'll know if you are. Naruto warned. Shit. Taya thought, knowing her cover was blown. Then again, maybe if she tells him the truth she could convince him to join Odo. Alright, fine. I'm actually a Kunoichi from Itagakure and working with Orochimaru. Taya revealed. Okay. Said Naruto before he began putting all the bodies into a pile, while Taya looked at him surprised. That's it, that's all you're going to say. You did hear me say I'm working with Orochimaru, you know, the Snake Sannin, a traitor to Konoha. Said Taya, not sure he heard correctly. I'm aware who he is, I just don't care. I'm no longer a ninja of Konoha, so I have no reason to care about its traitors, and I have no problems with Orochimaru to begin with. Only reason we'd have problems was if he got in my way, other than that yeah I don't care. Naruto said, throwing another body on the pile. Just like that? Taiya asked. Just like that? Repeated Naruto, putting the last body with the rest before using a low-level fire jutsu to burn them. Though I will say this, watch your back around him. Orochimaru isn't known to be trustworthy or rewarding to his subordinates. Naruto said. Thanks for the warning, but I can handle myself. Retorted Taiya, crossing her arms. Not saying you can't, just that you shouldn't expect any loyalty from a snake, you never know when it'll bite you. Naruto said, Taiya nodding. She then suddenly remembered something, the second task of the chunin exams should be ending in a few days, then it'll be the preliminaries. Kin's team would be participating, and Taiya wanted her friend to do her best in the finals, if she passed that is. Hey shithead, can I ask you a favor? Taiya said. Depends, what is it? Asked Naruto, suddenly getting a sinking feeling when Taiya grinned wickedly. Time skip 2 weeks. After the preliminary rounds of the chunin exams, the favor Taiya had asked was for Naruto to train her friend Kin for her match in the finals. Something Naruto had reluctantly agreed to, not really wanting to train anyone, he only agreed after seeing Kin's determination to get stronger. If she had been the type to be arrogant in her own skills or complain about working hard, he wouldn't have bothered helping her. Her opponent for the finals was Shikamaru Nara, arguably the smartest genin of Naruto's generation, if not of the smartest people in the whole village. Combine that with his family's shadow techniques made for a dangerous opponent. This led Naruto teaching Kin to be more aware of her surroundings, as the most dangerous aspect of the Nara clan's shadow jutsu is catching their opponents off guard. To this end, Naruto made sure Kin was aware of what was around her, to watch her shadow's position and keep her distance, as if she could keep at a certain distance she'd be safe from being controlled. Though he also made sure she didn't think she was safe even if she kept her distance, as there would be ways for Shikamaru to extend his shadow's reach through orthodox or unorthodox methods. The other aspect Naruto focused on was making Kin faster on her feet, as if she was fast enough then she couldn't be caught by an opponent, learning to fight blind, never knowing when she wouldn't be able to see clearly, broadening her genjutsu skills to more than just her bells and anatomy. Since she used senbon, it'd be useful to know where to strike to incapacitate or kill an enemy. Naruto also made Taiya take part in training, despite her protests that she was considered an elite in Odo. He quickly put an end to that attitude by laying her flat on the ground with his blade out her throat, all before she could take out her flute. Naruto showed her that just because she was stronger, there was always someone stronger, faster, and more dangerous than her, and it'd be better to be safe than sorry. That led Naruto to training Taiya in the same things as Kin. He also trained them in basic things such as chakra control, Fuin Jutsu, which Taiya seemed to also have a hidden talent for, Shuriken Jutsu, and testing their elemental affinity. Taiya already knew her own elements was wind, while Kin's was lightning. This was helpful as not only were both of them Naruto's elements, but they worked well with the girls. For Taiya, she could learn to use wind jutsu in collaboration with her sound genjutsu to carry the music on the wind, increasing its range, or add sharpened blades of wind to the sound waves, thus causing physical damage and mental damage. With Kin, she could learn to channel lightning chakra through her senbon, that way when they hit a target, no matter where they hit, they'll paralyze the surrounding area of the body, thus weakening the opponent, or use it with ninja wire to shock her opponents. Both were versatile elements that allowed many opportunities. Unfortunately, as neither girls had access to the same massive chakra pools as Naruto, they couldn't use shadow clones without risk of killing themselves, thus they had to train normally. They still came along rather well, which gained Naruto's attention as he was under the belief they were born civilians that simply had enough potential to warrant Orochimaru's attention. But from what Naruto sensed, Taiya had high chunin chakra levels and Kin had mid to high genin chakra. There's definitely more to them than meets the eye. Naruto thought. He had begun paying close attention to their training, believing it possible they might be descended from a ninja clan. Naruto noted immediately Taiya had a knack for Fuin Jutsu to the same extent as himself, which was rare as the few Fuin Jutsu users took months, even years, to master the art unless they were a natural prodigy at the skill or were in Uzumaki. Taiya's quick progress and red hair made Naruto believe it more so the latter than the former. Kin, on the other hand, seemed to thrive in all combat-oriented skills and was advancing at a surprising rate, though being best at ninjutsu and genjutsu, along surprising skill at using shuriken. This gave Naruto a theory if she was descended from a clan. A theory was currently testing out as he and his clones attacked Kin without pause or giving her a chance to counterattack. They were using their real swords to show they weren't playing around. If his theory was right, then he'll have helped Kin gain a useful tool, if not then it'll help her fight against multiple opponents. Either way, it'll help her later down the road. Currently they had been going at it for nearly an hour, and Naruto noticed as they continued Kin's movements became more fluid and perfectly timed. Let's see how she handles greater speed and less predictability. Naruto thought as he and his clones attacked with greater speed and changed up their movements. While she still managed to dodge the attacks, she was now having trouble keeping up as they were moving faster than her. Blows, one more push should do it. Thought Naruto, attacking even faster. Now Kin was unable to dodge the attacks and began cuts all over her body. Her timing seemed to be thrown off as well and began dodging attacks that came a second later. Suddenly Naruto saw a flash of red and immediately dispelled his clones and stopped his blade just shy of Kin's throat. "Hey Aya, would you come over here?" Naruto called out. "What'd you want, shithead? I was busy adding seals to my flu." Aya trailed off looking at Kin in shock. What are you both looking at?" Kin asked, panting in exhaustion. "Tell me, where did Orochimaru find you, Kin?" Naruto asked, not answering her question, while Aya was too stunned to say anything. A small village just outside of Fire Country." "Why?" said Kin, looking between the two with confused eyes. Eyes that are normally obsidian black but now are crimson red with 2 tomos in each of them. "What?" Kin asked. "Time skip 1 week. She's come along rather well," Naruto stated, watching Kin's match against Shikamaru. "She was a lot better than she was a month ago, being able to avoid his shadow and any tricks he used to extend his reach. That and her newly awakened Sharingan made her a much fiercer fighter. While it came a shock she had the Sharingan and by proxy Uchiha ancestry, it was still good to have such a powerful ability at her disposal." But Naruto made it perfectly clear to both Kin and Aya that they must keep it secret. If it was discovered there was another Uchiha, a female one at that, it'd cause more problems than they could handle. For one, Kin would automatically get a target on her back from villages wanting to use her as a baby factory to create their own Uchiha clan. The Konoha elders would demand Kin stay in Konoha, given the Uchiha are a founding clan, and either condition her to be a loyal tool or again as breeding stock to bring back the Uchiha clan. The worst case, however, would be if Orochimaru discovered this, he'd immediately make Kin his next vessel to get her eyes. Both girls immediately agreed to keep it a secret, not wanting anything like that to happen. Though this new discovery made them realize they couldn't stay with Orochimaru. If they did, it'd only be a matter of time before he found out or killed them when he saw they were getting stronger, as they knew Orochimaru wouldn't tolerate any of his subordinates growing too strong unless they were fanatically loyal like Kamimura or Kabuto. Either way, they had to leave. This led to Aya telling Naruto of the invasion that will happen during the finals, which Naruto found would be the perfect chance to finally leave Konoha. One other thing Naruto learned was that his former teammates had been disqualified after the second exam when it was discovered they caused the death of their temporary teammate Sai. While it shown Orochimaru gave the killing blow, there were signs that Sai had been attacked before dying, attacked from behind. The idiot didn't take my warning seriously enough," Naruto mused mentally with a shrug. Not his fault the fool didn't realize the emo and his lapdog were cowards and willing to sacrifice anyone to save their own skin. Though Naruto also found it funny that they were disqualified for it. From what he heard, Sasuke threw quite the fit. "Come on, Kin, beat that lazy fucker into the ground already," Aya shouted, snapping Naruto from his thoughts. Looking, he saw Shikamaru had several senbon sticking out of him and clutching his head, showing he was being affected by Kin's genjutsu. "It's over," stated Naruto when Kin threw 2 senbon into Shikamaru's neck, making him hit the ground unmoving. "He wasn't dead, just put in a death-like state he'll wake up from after a few minutes." The next match was going to be between Gaara and Neji Hyuga, and Naruto didn't need to be psychic to see how that match will end, hearing what the Tsunade Jinchuriki did to Neji's teammate. "Let's go, I'd rather not get caught up in an invasion," Naruto said, motioning Aya to follow him since it was decided she and Kin would go with Naruto as he was currently the safest bet of avoiding any unwanted attention. They met Kin at entrance. She was fine about not participating in any further matches, she mostly just wanted to fight the Nara when he made a comment about how it'd be troublesome to fight a girl. Leaving the village was easy enough, nearly everyone was at the stadium watching the matches. When they reached the gate they heard an explosion go off in the direction of the stadium. "It's starting," Aya said, knowing that signaled for the ninja outside the walls to summon the giant snakes. "Then let's go," said Naruto as they took off, running out the gate before jumping into the trees. However, before they could get far, Naruto was forced to grab Aya and Kin and jump out of the way as a wave of sand crashed down where they had been moments before. "Uzumaki!" Gaara roared, appearing a swirl of sand with half his body covered in sand, making him look like Shukaku. "Gaara. Fancy meeting you here, I'm guessing you're here for that spar I offered," Naruto said rather casually. "Yes. We will fight and you will make me feel alive, Uzumaki," said Gaara madly, Naruto nodding slowly while sensing Gaara's siblings a safe distance away and for some reason Sasuke jumping towards them. "Hold it there, dope, if anyone's fighting it's gonna be M." Smack. Naruto didn't even look as he threw his elbow back, hitting Sasuke in the face, knocking him out cold. Ahahahahaha. That was fucking hilarious. Taya laughed, not believing what she just saw. Inoto Orochimaru and his four-eyed fuck buddy talked about was how great the emo Uchiha was, and yet he was just taken out by an elbow to the face. Even Kin giggled lightly at the scene. Sorry about that, but if it's a fight you want, Naruto said, pulling out his flute dagger and began playing. Black smoke began wrapping around him, transforming him before standing in Naruto's place was Zenaku. Taya and Kin were surprised, not having seen Naruto do this before. It's a fight you'll get, said Zenaku. Yes, this power, I felt it before. Your death will truly prove my existence. Feigning sleep jutsu. Gaara said, slumping forward. Instantly large amounts of sand began swirling around Gaara, lifting him into the air and taking shape. HMPH, he's releasing his tailed beast already. Fine, then two can play at that game, said Zenaku, pulling out his animal crystals and putting them in the slots on his flute. Dark Wizards, arise. Zenaku called out before he began playing. Those present watched in shock as a large metallic wolf, hammerhead shark, and alligator appeared. What the hell, Kin said in shock and amazement. That's not the end. Now, Dark Wizards combine, commanded Zenaku. The Wizards roared before they began changing, the alligator forming the torso and legs, while the hammerhead shark and wolf became the arms, and finally a wolf head popper out with a horn unfolding. Zenaku teleported into the cockpit and placed his dagger in the slot for it. Predazard awaken, Zenaku said. I want one, said Taya, staring at the massive mech. It was cool, giant, badass, and she wanted one, damn it. I'm free, Shukaku screamed as it fully formed. Don't get used to it, you oversized rodent. Crescent boomerang, Zenaku said as the Predazard grabbed the crescent blade on top of the alligator Zord's head and threw it at Shukaku. The blade spun around, slashing Shukaku several times before returning to the Predazard. Ah. You damn bastard, I'm gonna kill you and turn that thing into scrap metal. Wine style. Drilling air bullet. Shukaku shouted, slamming its hand at stomach, releasing several blasts of condensed air. The Predazard, however, jumped into the air, avoiding the blasts before drawing the gator staff and slashing it down on Shukaku, though he simply reformed. Ahahaha. You can't beat me, I'll just keep reassembling myself with sand. Now why don't you just die? Yelled Shukaku, releasing more air bullets. I can't just destroy him, he'll just keep putting himself back together. Wait, Zenaku thought, looking at Shukaku's head and saw Gaara slumped forward, still asleep. Shukaku came out when Gaara fell asleep, then all I have to do is wake him up, thought Zenaku. Alright, Predator Wave, fire, said Zenaku. The alligator's mouth opened up and fired a large blast of white energy that created a large hole through Shukaku, making the tailed beast curse loudly. Seeing his chance, Zenaku jumped out of the cockpit towards Gaara. Now then, wake up, Zenaku shouted, punching Gaara in the face, not only waking him up but knocking him out of Shukaku's head. No. I just got out, I don't want to go back, Shukaku shouted as its body began falling apart. Zenaku and Gaara both fell to the ground, Zenaku landing on his feet as he transformed back to Naruto, while Gaara hit the ground. Standing up straight, Naruto began approaching Gaara, who looked at him fearfully. No, stay back, I won't let you erase my existence, Gaara said, only to be surprised when Naruto held out a hand for him instead. I'm not going to end your existence, Gaara. I know what it's like, the hatred, the loneliness, all of it. It can be unbearable at times, but it can be overcome, you just need to find people you can call precious to you, Naruto said, looking to Taya and Kin. Gaara looked at him and saw the same look in his eyes that he had as a child. Hesitantly he reached out and grasped Naruto's hand. How can I find people to call precious? I have no one, Gaara said. You sure about that? Asked Naruto rhetorically as Kankuro and Temari jumped down ready to fight. Stop, Gaara said, getting his siblings' attention. But Gaara. No. I just want to go home, said Gaara, surprising his siblings before they supported him. And Gaara, next time we meet we can have another round, as friends, Naruto said, Gaara surprised by this before nodding. I look forward to it, Naruto Uzumaki. But that Kankuro and Temari jumped away with Gaara's arms over their shoulders. Temari, Kankuro, I'm sorry. Gaara apologized, much to their surprise, before smiling at their brother. It's alright, Gaara, said Kankuro, glad to have his brother back. Naruto Uzumaki, thank you for helping my little brother, Temari thought, smiling. Back with Naruto, Taya and Kin jumped down in front of him. So, wanna explain what all that was? Taya asked, motioning to where the Predazard used to be and Naruto himself. It's kind of a long story, said Naruto. Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty of time to tell it on our way to. Where are we going exactly? Asked Kin as she didn't hear them discuss a destination. Not really sure, I just planned to go wherever the wind took me. Naruto said. You're kidding, right? You planned to leave your village and didn't have a planned destination? Shouted Taiya. Nope. Though I'm sure we'll find out where we're going when we get there. Naruto said, beginning to walk forward. What does that even mean? Well, at least things will be interesting. How could things have gotten so bad? Thought Sarutobi, rubbing his temples as he sat in his office before looking out the window to Konoha, seeing everyone going about making repairs to the village following the Otosuna invasion 3 days ago. Hiruzen still couldn't believe he had let Orochimaru slip into his village right under his nose, even more that he killed the Kazekage and would have killed him as well had it not been for a sheer amount of luck. He had been taken hostage by Orochimaru, then locked in a barrier with his former student. Sarutobi had been fully prepared to die in that moment, as long as it meant taking Orochimaru down with him. But then the strangest, or luckiest depending on your view, thing happened. One of the Odo ninja holding up the barrier dispelled into a puff of smoke, showing it had been a shadow clone the entire time. This disrupted the barrier, allowing the Anbu outside to enter the fight against Orochimaru and his Sound 4. When the battle looked to be going against his favor, Orochimaru pulled out his trump card, summoning the Shadame and Nidame Hokages. Without anything holding them back, the resurrected Hokage did plenty of damage to the village, thankfully, though Jiraiya managed to show up in time and seal them away before they could do anything to permanent. Not only that, but the appearance of a giant metal mech fighting a tailed beasts also had everyone talking. Somehow Sarutobi just knew Naruto was somehow responsible for not only the giant mech, but also the shadow clone disguised as Orochimaru's subordinate. Thinking about the boy made the Hokage sigh sadly. After the invasion, Naruto had been nowhere to be found. It wasn't hard for Sarutobi to realize he had left after defeating Shukaku. Where he is heading, though, Hiruzen didn't have the faintest idea or which way he was going, so he couldn't send out trackers to bring him back. And due to Naruto's rather unethical resignation, he was considered a civilian and thus could not be put in the bingo book as a missing nin. Even if I did put Naruto in the bingo book, I would have to list his status as a Jinchuriki to justify putting a civilian in. Sarutobi thought. But even that he couldn't do that either, as if the other villages found out Konoha was without its Jinchuriki, it would spell disaster not only for Konoha but Naruto as well, as he'd be hunted every day by those who'd seek him to control the Kyuubi or turn him into breeding stock should his heritage be discovered. Maybe if he'd just been more honest with the boy, get him to swear secrecy to never tell anyone who his parents were, or even just tell him that yes, his parents loved him with all their hearts, having given their lives so he could live. Instead he lied every day to Naruto, and now he is gone. Minato, Kushina, I hope one day you can forgive this foolish old man. Sarutobi thought, looking at the pictures of his predecessors and successor. Though one good thing that came from all this was that Sarutobi realized he's no longer in his prime, and if it hadn't been for Naruto's interference with that clone, he'd very likely be dead now. It was time for him to retire for good this time and find someone else to take up the hat. Jiraiya, no. Knowing Jiraiya and his vices, he's likely to make all Kunoichi uniforms into miniskirts and tube tops. Danzo, Sarutobi would sooner be Hokage till he died before letting Danzo have that kind of power. Kakashi, if his time as a sensei was anything to go by, he'd potentially be worse than Danzo. That only leaves Tsunade. Hiruzen thought in resignation. Pat, fetch me Jiraiya, and if he doesn't show up in the next 5 minutes you have my permission to unman him. Sarutobi said, not willing to deal with his perverted student wanting stay and do his research. Gladly, Hokage-sama. Said Kat. Hiruzen can only hope that Jiraiya can convince Tsunade to come back, not only to become the Goddamn Hokage, but also since her knowledge on medical ninjutsu would greatly benefit the village, while her status as a Sannin will be a good boost in morale. Especially after the destruction caused the resurrected Shadame and Nidame, and now Naruto's absence. Let's just hope Jiraiya catches her in a good mood. Hiruzen thought. With Naruto, Kin, and Taiya. I'm surprised they've held out for this long. Naruto thought, jumping from tree branch to tree branch, glancing back at Taiya and Kin, seeing them still keeping pace with him, despite not having stopped once they had left Konoha. Not once did they ask to stop for a break or ask him about turning into Zenaku or the Predazard. Though just from their expressions Naruto could tell they wanted to ask, making him sigh, wanting to just get that out of the way. Go ahead, ask. I know you both have questions. Naruto stated, both girls instantly shooting off questions. What was with that other form? Where do you get the metal animals and where can I get some? Is it a Kekkei Genkai? No, really, where can I get a giant robot? What other powers do you have? Tell me, damn it. Enough. Said Naruto, silencing both girls while he took a breath. To answer your questions, those metal animals you call them are called Wilzards, together they form the Predazard, and it's mine. You can't get a Wilzard unless you manage to locate an animal crystal and are chosen by the Wilzard, and even if you are chosen you'd need at the minimum 5 Wilzards to form a Megazord. Mine are unique and only require 3. Naruto said, Taiya grumbling at the unfairness and chosen bullshit. Now for your questions kin, it's not a Kekkei Genkai. That other form I turn into is called Zenaku the Duke Wolf and a creature known as an org. It all happened a couple weeks ago, give or take a few months, Naruto said. He began his tale. Flashback. Hey, here's a great idea, let's put on a creepy wolf mask we found in an even creepier abandoned temple, great idea. Naruto shouted at himself as walking through his mindscape. He knew it was his mindscape and not just a random sower, simply because he'd once overheard Ino talking about her family jutsu, which revolved around the mind, and how each person had their own unique mindscape. Plus something just told Naruto it was his mindscape. Naruto just wished it wasn't a sower of all places. Naruto had been walking forward for who knows how long, it could have been an hour or even a day, and he wouldn't have known. The only defining features he had to go off his location were the pipes running along the walls, each having a different glow to them. The first set of pipes had a blue glow which Naruto guessed was his chakra, the second glowed crimson red which Naruto figured was the Kyuubi's chakra. Now the third set confused him as they had a black-purple glow to them that Naruto didn't know what it was. What he did know was that it gave off the same aura as the wolf mask he found. After a bit more of walking, Naruto finally came out of the sewer and into a moonlit forest, the full moon hanging overhead and the distant sound of howling being heard. Well, this is new. Not that I'm complaining since anything is better than a sewer, anyway. Naruto thought, looking around the forest. Walking around, Naruto soon came to a clearing where he saw someone else standing with their back to them. The person turned their head towards Naruto, but rather than seeing a normal human face, Naruto was greeted to the side of the face of a wolf-like creature. Unsure what he was supposed to do, while wondering if this creature is connected to the mask he found, Naruto stiffened slightly when the creature jerked its head, motioning him to come forward. Not seeing any other option, Naruto stepped forward until he stood next to the creature. So, who are you? Naruto asked, breaking the awkward silence. Zenaku. Answered the creature, Zenaku, tersely. Were you sealed inside that mask? Said Naruto, guessing that was the only explanation of how this Zenaku guy appeared in his mind. I was until you put it on. Zenaku stated, still looking forward with his arms crossed. Okay. Well, where you ga? Naruto gasped when Zenaku suddenly drove his fist into his gut. Falling to his knees, Naruto coughed and gasped for air. What was that for? Wheezed Naruto. For being the most foolish and by far most idiotic human I have come across in my life. Said Zenaku before bringing his knee up, slamming it into Naruto's face and knocking the boy back. Groaning at the sudden assault, Naruto prepared to get up but found himself pinned by a boot on his back. Turning his head, he saw Zenaku's amber eyes glaring at him with a menacing glow while he held a large crescent blade in his hand, the same blade Naruto saw in the temple. You know, normally when someone puts on my mask I would just take over their body while erasing their presence so they couldn't try retaking control. But you, I doubt I'd have to even try and suppressing and locking you away into the deepest recesses of your mind, all while making you watch as I slaughtered everyone in that village. And there wouldn't be a damn thing you or anyone could do to stop me. Zenaku threatened, Naruto gulping, not doubting this creature could do just that and be on his merry way. And you wanna know why? Zenaku asked rhetorically, grabbing Naruto by the back of his jacket before slamming his knee into his chest. It's because you're weak. An elbow was smashed into Naruto's back. Pathetic. An uppercut to his chin, dazing the boy. Worthless. Naruto's head was smashed into a tree as Zenaku's hand was wrapped around his throat. And most of all, you are nothing. Stated Zenaku while flexing his free hand, releasing his claws. Really, killing you would be a mercy. As you are now, you wouldn't last a day in the world outside those village walls. Zenaku finished raising his hand to end the brat. Though before his claws could puncture Naruto's chest, his wrist was grabbed by another clawed hand. A little surprised at this, Zenaku looked to see Naruto's eyes were now crimson red, with slit pupils glaring straight at him. Grabbing his other hand, Naruto pried it off his throat, while Zenaku was surprised when he couldn't break his grip on his wrists. You can beat me, insult me, you can even kill me. But don't ever, Naruto growled out, his appearance becoming more feral before he released Zenaku's wrist and reared his fist back. Call me nothing. Roared Naruto, slamming his fist into Zenaku's face, sending the Duke Wolf flying back, crashing through a tree. While surprised at the kid's sudden strength, Zenaku was also somewhat impressed. He isn't completely worthless. Zenaku thought, seeing Naruto coming towards him before pulling his fist back to deliver another punch. But this time he was prepared and caught the brat's fist, then to Naruto's confusion he shook his hand. Zenaku. Introduced Zenaku again. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto said, confused at what just happened as his appearance returned to normal. Well, Naruto Uzumaki, there might just be a fighter in you after all. Said Zenaku, taking a few steps back. Thank you. What happens now then? Naruto asked, since he still had that mask on and this guy in his head. Now, I make you into something resembling a half-decent warrior. So you better prepare yourself cause I don't pull my punches. Zenaku said, summoning his blade again. Then flashback. For 3 years in my mindscape, Zenaku trained me in everything he knew, along with gifting me several sub-elements in the form of ice, swift, storm, and typhoon. He also taught me his sword style, how to pilot the Predazard, along with passing everything he knew on to me. And when my training was complete we merged, now I am Zenaku. Naruto finished, Taiya and Kin looking at him surprised at his tale. Wait, 3 years, how did that work exactly? Kin asked. It's called image training, it's where someone would close their eyes and imagine fighting someone else as if it was a real battle. As I was trained within my mindscape I could make a couple hours in the real world into 3 years in my mindscape. It's also good to learn control and meditation. The only downside that while you gain all the muscle memory and control from the training your physical body has to be trained up to the same standard as you were after finishing the image training, otherwise anything you learn is useless if you can't properly utilize it. Said Naruto with a frown. It was why he always left a clone with his teammates while he trained on his own, he wanted to get his abilities up to what they were in his mind. You could have the power of a god, but it's useless unless you know how to use that power. That was one of Zenaku's many lessons to make sure Naruto didn't become arrogant in his new powers. The girls were amazed at such a training regimen, they could train for potentially years in just a few hours. So any more questions? Naruto asked. Yeah, why the fuck did this Zenaku guy merge with you or even train you for that matter, when he could have just taken over your body? Taiya asked, wondering what'd be the point in training someone to succeed you when you could just possess them. He was fulfilling a promise he made. Answered Naruto, not explaining any further. Nothing more was said as they continued on their way, though both girls were curious of just who Zenaku made a promise to that he'd willingly merge with Naruto, effectively erasing his own existence. Time skip 2 days. Alright shithead, we've been traveling for 5 days now and haven't once stopped for a break. Now I'm only going to ask this once, and if I don't get a straight answer I will shove my sandal so far up your. We're here. Said Naruto, cutting Taiya off. You're doing that on fucking purpose, aren't you? Taiya said, looking at Naruto with narrowed eyes, just knowing he's purposefully trying to piss her off now. Well, where is here exactly? Cause I don't see anything. Kin said, looking around, only seeing the cliff they were standing on overlooking the ocean, while Naruto shook his head. Not here, there. Said Naruto, pointing off in the distance to a group of islands. And exactly is over there? Demanded Taiya. The ruins of Yuzashigakure. Naruto answered before jumping off the cliff and immediately started running across the water. Hey, wait for us. Shouted Taiya, jumping off, followed by Kin as they caught up to him. Running alongside Naruto, the three began approaching the islands, but as they got closer Taiya and Kin noticed several whirlpools surrounding the islands. How are we supposed to get past those? Kin asked over the sound of the whirlpools. They were moving too fast to be able to run across and too wide to jump across. Rather than respond, Naruto went through several hand signs before slamming his hand on the surface of the water. Then, to the shock of the girls, the whirlpools began shrinking until they were small enough to run between. How did you? No time to explain, we have to get across before the whirlpools activate again. Naruto cut off before running between the, followed by Taiya and Kin. Once safely past the whirlpools, the girls looked back and saw they had already started returning to their previous eyes. Finally they reached one of the islands and run up the cliffside, jumping to solid ground. Okay, we're here, now mind explaining how the hell you did that? Taiya demanded, motioning to the whirlpools. It's a defense mechanism created by the Uzumaki clan. The whirlpools are created by a sealing barrier surrounding all the islands. Anyone not in Uzumaki or already keyed into a barrier would be ripped to shreds by the currents. Naruto explained, amazing the girls that such a piece of fuinjutsu existed. Unfortunately, while it was an incredible creation, it wasn't perfect, given someone with a high mastery of water ninjutsu could slow down the whirlpools enough to allow enemies to enter. Her Jinchuriki with control of their tailed beast can easily bypass as well. Which is what happened when Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa attacked. Naruto thought angrily at those 3 villages responsible for destroying his clan. If he ever got the chance, he'll show them why you never cross in Uzumaki. The 3 continued forward, eventually arriving at a large gate with a Uzumaki swirl on the front. Pushing the gates open, the sight that greeted them was one that shocked Kin and Taiya and angered Naruto. Dozens of the skeletons lining the roads, most of them wearing red uniforms and yuzu headbands, but there were also ones that were wearing normal civilian clothes, showing not only were the ninja killed but civilians as well. Hundreds of men, women, and children slaughtered, all because of humans' fear and greed. Naruto thought in anger. The only thing that kept his anger from controlling him was the satisfaction that for every dead Uzumaki he saw 5 dead Kiri, Kumo, and Iwa ninja. The Uzumaki clan might have been nearly wiped out, but they made damn sure it was a hollow victory. Gin and Taiya meanwhile looked on with solemn expressions. While both were no strangers to death and destruction, given they worked with Orochimaru, it was still sad to see a once powerful clan brought down. Soon they reached what they guessed used to be a plaza with several branching paths. Two of the paths lead to two bridges connecting to the other islands, and the third directly in front of them lead to an island in the center of all the others, containing only a large tower. That must be where the Uzukage stayed. Naruto thought. Let's go. Naruto said, walking towards the tower. What do you expect to find there? I doubt the other villages left anything of value after the battle. Kin stated, knowing the three villages wouldn't pass up the chance to raid the village for any valuable relics or knowledge. Anything taken was nothing of any real value. Any scrolls on Fuinjutsu that were taken were already common knowledge to the nations. The weapons are nothing special either, only of a slightly better quality than normal. No, the real treasures are locked away in the Uzukage Tower where no one could steal them and only in Uzumaki could access them. Said Naruto, remembering everything Zenaku told him. Walking across the bridge, the teens looked up at the large tower, seeing it was as tall as 5 cage towers stacked on top of each other before heading inside. The first thing they saw was what looked like a reception area and a door. Going through the door lead them to a room which they guessed was meant to be a stairwell, with only one glaring problem. Where the fuck are the stairs? Taiya shouted. There are none, you're supposed to jump. Stated Naruto, pointing up at the noticeable ledges and doors. Why not just run up the walls? Asked Kin. Because there are chakra suppression seals lining the walls, the only way to get up is being able to jump high enough to reach the ledges. It's also good training to not be too dependent on your chakra, sometimes you'll have to rely on just your physical prowess. Naruto said, seeing the practical side of doing this besides just making it harder for enemies to reach the top. Well, how are we supposed to get up there? Taiya said, motioning to her and Kin. While both were physically fit, she doubted they'd be able to jump high enough to reach the first ledge. Rather than respond, Naruto grabbed them by the back of their shirts. Before they could protest that, he immediately leapt into the air onto the first ledge before jumping again. Soon they were at the top of the tower, with Naruto letting them go to calm down at the sudden series of jumps. If you ever do that again, I will throw you down that shaft, shithead. Threatened Taiya, not liking being manhandled like that. I got us up here, didn't I? Naruto shrugged before pushing the doors open, showing the interior of an office. It reminded him of the Hokage's office, the only difference being it was painted red and there were only 5 pictures rather than 4. These must be the past Uzukage. Naruto thought, looking at the pictures and the name plaques beneath them. Shadame Uzukage, Urahara Uzumaki. Nidame Uzukage, Jitsuga Uzumaki. Sandame Uzukage, Shanks Uzumaki. Yondame Uzukage, Morgiana Uzumaki. Adame Uzukage, Kaon Uzumaki. A female cage. Naruto thought, seeing the Yondame Uzukage was a woman. Going over to the desk, Naruto saw both a sealed letter and a Yuzu headband on the desk. Figuring the letter was left behind by the last Uzukage for any Uzumaki that may return to Uzushio, Naruto grabbed it and opened the letter. My fellow Uzumaki. If you are reading this, then the worst has come to pass, both Uzushio and the Uzumaki clan have fallen. Well, this saddens me. I am also relieved that some of us managed to get to safety. If you are indeed in Uzumaki, then I leave all of our clan's knowledge to you. Use it, bring the Uzumaki back to the top and show all your enemies what happens when they cross in Uzumaki. Every Fuinjutsu, Kinjutsu, Jinjutsu and Ninjutsu created by the Uzumaki is sealed away behind the bookcase in my office. Only in Uzumaki can release the seal. I go now to defend my village, my family and my clan from these invaders. If this is the day I die, then I will make sure to take as many of these bastards down as I can. My only relief is that my daughter Kushina is safe with our allies in Konoha and that she has taken the mask of the wolf with her. Truly, I fear what would happen if that mask fell into the wrong hands. Finally, I leave these parting words to you, our family creed. Family above pride, family above fame, family above all. Aon Uzumaki. Entei. Adame Uzukage. My grandfather. Thought Naruto, looking at the letter before looking to Kaon's picture on the wall. He was a tall and well-built man with narrow red eyes and matching red hair tied up in a top knot and goatee. Kushina, that's my Ka-san's name. Naruto thought, feeling a sense of joy fill him at knowing his Ka-san's name. Going back to what his grandfather said in his letter, Naruto turned to the bookcase. Going over to it while ignoring the questioning looks from his companions, Naruto pushed the bookcase out of the way, revealing a large seal behind it. He said only in Uzumaki can release the seal. Well, no better time like the present. Naruto thought, looking to Taiya. Taiya, come here for a second. Naruto said. What you want, shithead? Asked Taiya. Just put your hand on the seal. Said Naruto, motioning to the seal. Why? Taiya asked, not wanting to touch a seal she knew nothing about, knowing how certain seals react to the wrong person trying to open them. Just do it, I want to test a theory I have. Naruto said. Fine, but if I lose an arm I'm kicking your ass. muttered Taiya. Stepping forward, Taiya raised her hand, letting I hover just over the seal, hesitant in case something bad happens. Fuck it. Taiya thought, closing her eyes and putting her hand on the seal. For a moment nothing happened, then suddenly the seal lit up before it and the wall faded away, revealing a hidden passage. So it is true. Naruto said to himself, though Kin and Taiya still heard him. What's true? What just happened? Taiya asked. It seems you and I are cousins, both sharing Uzumaki blood. Stated Naruto, walking past her and into the passage. Wait, what? Said Taiya, surprised. She's in Uzumaki. I guess that means we're both from extinct clans. Kin said, finding it a little ironic. She's from the Uchiha clan and possesses the Sharingan, and Taiya is from the Uzumaki clan that are known for the longevity. Both of which Orochimaru desires to learn all jutsu in the world and become immortal. Shaking of her surprise, the girls followed Naruto down the passage, finding him standing at the bottom of the stairs, staring wide-eyed at something. Hey, were you just standing there? Taiya trailed off when she saw why Naruto stopped moving. Shit. Kin muttered in shock at the sight before her. The reason being the thousands upon thousands of scrolls all stacked neatly on shelves nearly half as tall as the tower. Even more shocking was the plaques on the shelves. These are just Fuinjutsu. Kin and Taiya thought, shocked that all these scrolls were only for Fuinjutsu. If these were just the Fuinjutsu ones, how many more scrolls were there? Ladies, we have work to do. Naruto said, the girls nodding in agreement. Time skip 2 weeks. 2 weeks have passed since Naruto, Kin, and Taiya arrived in Uzushio, along with discovering the Jutsu vault hidden in the Uzukage Tower. After they had gotten over their shock of all the scrolls hidden within, they all immediately set out to begin studying and learning from them. Kin had gone to the ninjutsu and jinjutsu sections, given those were her specialties, and began memorizing them with her Sharingan. Taiya focused on the Fuinjutsu and jinjutsu sections, eager to find any sound-based jinjutsu to try with her flute, and studying all the seals created by her recently discovered clan. Naruto, though, didn't have to focus on a single section and simply created several hundred clones to study all Fuin, Gen, Ken, and ninjutsu scrolls they could. It also amused him greatly when he heard Kin and Taiya cursing him and his shadow clones, while vowing to learn the jutsu as fast as they could to utilize the, as they call it, BS hacks jutsu. Currently, however, Naruto was walking through his mindscape, which thankfully was no longer a sewer and was instead the same moonlit forest it had been when Zenaku first arrived. The reason for this was Naruto believed it was long overdue that he meet with his tenant. Arriving at a large cave with bars in front of it, Naruto stared into the darkness, knowing just what was locked within. Approaching the bars, Naruto stopped just shy of being able to walk between them. I know you're there, you might as well come out. Naruto said, only hearing a loud growl coming from the cage. Suddenly large claws shot out from between the bars, one of them just barely impaling Naruto, who remained perfectly calm despite nearly dying. Damn this seal and damn that blasted Yondaime for sealing me again. Said the Kyuubi as it stepped out from the darkness and into the light, glaring down at Naruto, hating that he wasn't showing even the smallest amount of fear. In fact, he looked almost bored. And the Kyuubi hated it. I didn't come here to fight Fox, I want to talk. Naruto said. I have nothing to say to you, boy, and I have no desire to hear what you have to say unless it's you screaming in pain. Kyuubi growled, Naruto sighing and narrowing his eyes. Look, neither of us really had much of choice about what happened that night. I didn't ask you to be sealed in me, and you didn't want to be sealed. You want to blame someone, blame the Yondaime. Said Naruto, having long since lost any form of hero worship to the man that is the cause of him being hated his entire life. The Kyuubi would reluctantly admit he had a point. That didn't mean the fox would say it out loud, refusing to ever agree with a human on anything. Whatever. Say what you want, then leave, your literal humanity disgusts me. Kyuubi said. Fine. Here's my offer, since I don't know where the original key for the seal is, I will try to recreate it, or at the very least find a way to break the seal, giving you your freedom. All I ask in return is you leave behind some of your chakra so I don't die. Naruto said. And who's to say you won't just find a way to strip me of my power and leave me to rot in this prison? Retorted Kyuubi. Because I'm not like the cage or anyone else in the villages. They only see you as a mindless creature meant to be controlled and used as a weapon, along with the other tailed beasts. But you aren't, are you? You have your own thoughts and feelings, you only seek revenge against those that would try to take your freedom and lock you away. Said Naruto. In Naruto's opinion, Hashirama had been a fool to capture the tailed beasts and give them away to the other villages like property. Not only did he have no right to capture them and treat the tailed beasts like trophies to give away, but it was foolish to give other villages literal walking natural disasters and not expect them to be used as weapons of war. Naruto, however, knew better. They weren't mindless creatures or just physical constructs of chakra, no, they were so much more. After all, they used to be one, the first tailed beast. The Juubi. It took some doing, but Naruto managed to sort through those visions he got when he touched the stump of the Shinju tree. Well, he doesn't know the full story. He knew all the tailed beasts were once part of the same beast. If that isn't enough, then how about this? If I plan to strip you of all your power, why would bother coming here to lie to you when I could have just done exactly that? Said Naruto. Kyuubi growled again, knowing Naruto was right. He'd be able to find a way to strip the Kyuubi of its power, and the fox wouldn't be able to do anything to stop him. And what else do you want? Kyuubi said, doubting. All he wanted was some of its chakra in order to not die. Nothing, I just want you to leave some chakra behind so I don't die. So, we have a deal? Asked Naruto, stepping even closer to the bars, looking up at the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi glared down at Naruto, neither backing down in the battle of wills. Finally, after several moments of staring each other down, the Kyuubi was enveloped in a bright red glow and started shrinking. When the glow vanished, Naruto's eyes widened a little in surprise. In the place of Kyuubi was a drop-dead gorgeous vixen with long blood-red hair done up in a ponytail that went down to her waist, matching crimson eyes with slit pupils, jagged whisker marks on her cheeks, and elongated canines. Her attire consisted of a blood-red kimono top with long sleeves covering her hands and hung off her shoulders and displayed her large F-cup breasts, black skin-tight short shorts that hugged her shapely rear and showing off her mile-long legs. The most noticeable features, however, were the fox ears on top of her head that occasionally twitched and the 9 orange tails with black tips coming out her back. This telling Naruto that this was indeed the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Beautiful. Naruto muttered, Kyuubi making a tsk noise. Don't try and flatter me, human, I don't like you or trust you. Kyuubi said before holding out her hand still in her oversized sleeve. But yes, we have a deal. Said Kyuubi, her face twisting like she ate something sour. Nodding, Naruto shook the Kyuubi's hand only for the vixen to pull him close and looked him straight in the eye. But make no mistake, this doesn't make us friends or allies or anything. I'm only agreeing to this to get my freedom. Try and betray me, and I'll devour you along with those little girls you seem fond of. Kyuubi growled, her eyes glowing crimson and squeezing Naruto's hand tightly only for Naruto to return the hard grip. Same to you. Betray me and you'll spend the rest of eternity trapped in a crystal. Said Naruto lowly, his own eyes glowing. They both glared at each other for several moments before releasing each other's hands. And Kyuubi, for what it's worth, I'm sorry for everything that's happened to you. Naruto said as he left the mindscape. Kyuubi looked to the spot where Naruto once stood before scoffing. People aren't measured by their intentions or words, they're measured by their actions. Kyuubi thought as she laid down. If he wanted to prove himself in her eyes, then he'll have to do it through his actions. Come on, Naruto. You gotta be faster than that if you want to catch me. Said a 6-year-old girl while smiling at the younger Naruto who was running after her. Naruto frowned as he observed his younger self and the girl he was chasing. Looking down at his body, he saw he was semi-transparent. What is this? Is this a dream? Or a memory? Naruto thought, confused about what he was seeing. If it was a dream, then why did it feel so real? If it was a memory, then why don't I remember it? Hey, where'd you go? Said his younger self. Looking, Naruto saw his younger self walking around a tree looking for the girl, not seeing her anywhere. A quick glance and Naruto saw the girl sitting in the tree covering her mouth trying not to laugh, and despite his confusion, Naruto felt himself smile at the girl, getting a warm feeling in his chest at seeing her smile. Who are you? Naruto, though, just as the girl jumped down from her perch right on top of his younger self. Gotcha. Said the girl, pinning his younger self to the ground and held him down despite him struggling. Hey, no fair. You cheated. The younger Naruto said. Nope, I'm just better than you, now admit. The girl said, smiling cheekily. Never. His younger self said. Admit it. No. Admit it. No. Yes. No. Yes. You can't make me. The girl narrowed her eyes at his younger self, who had crossed his arms stubbornly, before she smiled mischievously. Then I guess you don't get your reward. Said the girl, the younger Naruto perking up at that. Reward? He asked. Yep. I was going to give you a reward for admitting I was better, but if you don't want it, the girl trailed off, while the kid Naruto looked at war with himself. Alright, fine. You're better than me. He admitted in a quiet tone. See, wasn't that easy? The girl said, getting up off Naruto and pulling him up. Now, close your eyes and I will give you reward. Said the girl, his younger self regarding her suspiciously but closed his eyes. Then to Naruto's surprise, the girl leaned and kissed him on the cheek while his younger self's eyes flew open in shock. What? What was that for? Kid Naruto asked, rubbing the spot where she kissed him, the girl giggling at his expression. It was a thank you for being my friend, Naruto. The girl answered, smiling softly at Naruto as both the older and younger versions looked at her surprised expressions. I'm really glad we met. Said the girl, tilting her head to the side. I'm glad we met too. Naruto snapped open as he took in his surroundings, finding himself back in his room in Yuzushio. Groaning, Naruto dragged a hand down his face. Again, another dream with that girl. Who is she? Why am I dreaming of someone I've never met? But why does it feel so real? Naruto thought, sitting up. This wasn't the first time he's had dreams like that, though they felt more like memories than dreams, of that mystery girl. They were all the same, him playing with her, playing together, spending time together, and every time just before he can hear her name he wakes up. It was both confusing and frustrating for Naruto. Getting out of bed, Naruto entered the shower and cleaned himself before he got dressed, while his mind was still plagued with questions and no answers. If they're memories, why am I only now remembering them? They couldn't have been sealed away. I would have found a memory seal on me after merging with Zenaku. Kitsumi couldn't be the cause either, otherwise I would have regained them the moment she was released. Could my mind have suppressed them? It's possible something traumatic happened that caused me to suppress all memories of this girl. If so, then what exactly happened and where is she? Naruto thought, frowning at the last question. From the dreams, or memories, he and this girl were best friends as children, and yet Naruto knew he had no female friends as a child, or friends in general. He had too many questions and no answers, but he'll get them one way or another. Once he was fully dressed, Naruto exited the room and headed to the kitchen, seeing Taiya and Kin already awake and eating. Sitting down, Naruto gazed off into the distance, his mind still plagued by his dreams and all his questions. His strange behavior wasn't missed by either of his companions, who were both nearing their limit, having noticed he's been distracted for the past few days. Alright shithead, enough is enough. Tell us what the hell is wrong you with or we'll beat it out. Taiya demanded. What she said, only with less swearing. Added Kin. Naruto glanced them both, looking at him intently, before returning to staring at nothing in particular. I've been having dreams about a girl. Naruto revealed. What? Said Kin and Taiya with narrowed eyes, both feeling a spike of jealousy and annoyance, or anger for the latter. Even during the 3 years they've been on Uzushio, the girls had entered in a relationship with Naruto. Considering they were already friends, it was rather easy for them to get used to sharing. So they didn't like the fact he was dreaming about other girls. Not like that. And they aren't really dreams, they feel more like memories from when I was a kid. I'm playing with this girl and we're having fun and acting like normal kids, but I don't remember ever meeting her before, and yet when I see I get this warm feeling in my chest like I'm supposed to know her and that she means something to me. But at the same time I feel pain and sorrow. Naruto explained, looking down with a frown. Oh. The girls said, their jealousy fading as they looked at Naruto, seeing how this eating at him. It was sad, since in all the time they've known him, he's never looked this sad before. His eyes even looked broken and empty as he talked about this mystery girl. Taiya and Kin both put one hand on his shoulder before kissing him on his cheeks. If you want, we can help you understand if these are memories or just realistic dreams, Naruto-kun. Kin offered. Yeah, and if they are memories, we'll also help you find this mystery girl. Added Taiya, Naruto nodding to them both. Thank you, both of you. Naruto said, smiling at the girls, returning the kisses though on their lips rather than their cheeks. So what's the plan for today? Training, sparring, screwing like rabbits in heat? Kin asked with a smirk at the last option, a smirk Taiya shared. Naruto mulled over those options, sorely tempted to choose the third option, but restrained himself. It's been 3 years since their arrival on Uzushio. Since then they've been training, practicing, and mastering all the scrolls in the Uzumaki vault, sparring with each other, and after they entered in their relationship, screwing like rabbits, as Kin eloquently put it. The only time they left the islands was to get supplies, clothes, and for Naruto to take the girls out on dates. Though Naruto also went to the mainland to settle his own private business. Their skills had come along rather nicely, Taiya and Kin having increased their number of genjutsu, along with developing some of their own, both having their own advantage, Taiya with her sound-based genjutsu and Kin with her now fully matured Sharingan. Taiya had also come along nicely in her fuinjutsu studies, having added numerous seals to her flute that can have a wide range of effects, from genjutsu to elemental attacks. Kin meanwhile learned a large amount of fire and lightning jutsu, given fire jutsu was her clan's specialty and lightning being her element. She'd also taken a shine to medical jutsu, having seen how people like Orochimaru and Kabuto can use it in combat, and given how she's already learned the basics of human anatomy for her senbon, she decided to increase her knowledge in that area. Naruto meanwhile had improved in all aspects of his training. He'd master his base elemental affinities to the point he could manipulate them without the aid of jutsu or hand signs, while his sub-elements, while not the same level, he could use them depending on the correct weather conditions, such as a storm for storm style or a blizzard for ice style. He was now beyond a fuinjutsu master, creating numerous seals of his own, sharing a few with Taiya and Kin, but keeping the more dangerous ones to himself, not wanting them to hurt themselves by improperly handling them. His training as Zen-Aku had also improved greatly. He could now switch between both forms in seconds and remain as Zen-Aku for as long as he wanted. Naruto had also taken the time to train alongside his summons as well, he'd even earned enough of Fenrir's respect that the Alpha Direwolf had allowed Naruto the chance to learn a powerful ability certain summons grant their summoners. Sage Mode. It was one of Naruto's trump cards he only uses as a last resort. So far he hasn't needed to use any of his trump cards against any opponents he's faced. If Naruto were to rank them, he'd put both Kin and Taiya at a high A rank, well he was S rank and he wasn't being arrogant in his skills, as he's proven before that he's definitely S rank. Their attire had also changed, given their old clothes were ruined from one to many spars. Naruto's attire was black boots, black pants held up by a black belt with a silver wolf buckle, a black skin-tight sleeveless shirt with a black trench coat with a Uzumaki swirl on the back. Taiya now wore a grey tunic with a Uzumaki swirl on the back, black spandex shorts that stopped above her knees, her regular black hat, black sandals that went partway up her calves, and her black arm sleeves that stopped below her elbows. Kin's outfit was black sandals, grey leggings, a white kimono top with long baggy sleeves where she hides numerous enban. She'd also cut her hair to mid-back length and kept it in a braid. Taiya seal the vault, Kin, and I will seal away any supplies we need. Naruto instructed standing up. It's been a while since if any of them have been in any actual combat and he'd prefer none of them got rusty by become complacent. Fucking finally. Taiya said relieved they're finally leaving the island after months with Kin sharing in her excitement. All the girls enjoyed the peace and quiet of the islands and training in all the scrolls in the Uzumaki vault, they couldn't deny if they didn't get off the island soon, they'll go stir crazy. Where are we going and I swear you better give us a straight answer and not some vague bullshit like last time. Taiya warned, Naruto smirking in amusement remembering her anger when they left Konoha. We'll be going to Suna. Answered Naruto interested to see what Gaara has been up to since the last time they met. And after that we'll be getting answers about my dreams. Naruto added all traces of amusement gone. And how are we going to do that? I doubt we can just stroll back into Konoha and get answers given your defection, along with how we were working with the pedo snake at the time. Said Taiya as despite Naruto having technically been a civilian when he left he was still a Jinchuriki. Well I don't know the girl's name, I do know what she looks like. Black hair, black eyes, pale skin and her attire, I think she might have been an Uchiha. Naruto stated, Taiya and Kin looking at him confused. Well nearly all the Uchiha are dead, with only 4 if you include the masked man. Plus, I'm the only living female one and I doubt we met before the chunin exams. Kin said. I'm aware. Which is why after going to Suna we'll be hunting down Itachi Uchiha. Naruto stated, now the girl is looking at him shocked. Are you sure that's a good idea? I mean not only is he an S-rank missing nin, but we might as well be looking for a needle in a haystack since I doubt he'll just be sitting around somewhere. Said Kin. Plus the fact he's a member of an organization, the Akatsuki I think, that Orochimaru used to be in, that are hunting Jinchuriki and tailed beasts. Taiya added remembering Orochimaru mentioning his previous affiliations. Maybe, but that'll just mean he'll be trying to find me too. Either way I'm going to get answers. Naruto said heading for the door. And? What will you do once you get them? Like Kin said nearly all the Uchiha are dead, there's a chance that this girl Taiya stopped short while Naruto stood in place before spoke slowly. Depending on who this girl is and what she means to me, if she is dead and Itachi did kill her, Naruto said, holding his hand up as his nails extended into claws and his eyes glowed. Then there will be one less Uchiha in the world. Konoha. I swear there are days I hate taking this job. Thought Tsunade Senju, the goddamn Hokage, as she sat behind her desk doing paperwork, something which no matter how much she did there always seemed to be more appearing out of nowhere. 3 years ago if you had told Tsunade she would return to Konoha, let alone become Hokage, she would have laughed in your face and very likely punched you through a mountain. Yet here she was back in the village she never wanted to see again, with a job she never wanted. Of course after hearing from her sensei, and now her only advisor, about the alternative she knew she had to become Hokage. Considering she wouldn't let any Kunoichi be forced to have Jiraiya as a commanding officer, Kakashi while a talented ninja wasn't exactly Hokage material, and Danzo Tsunade didn't need to be psychic to know the disaster that would be. Not to mention everything that happened after she took the position, from the Akatsuki infiltrating the village to capture Naruto Uzumaki, not knowing he was no longer in the village, and then the defection of Sasuke Uchiha to Orochimaru. Damn it old man you couldn't have kept the title for just a few more years, find someone else to suck her into this. Tsunade thought. As if summoned by her thoughts Hiruzen entered the office. Sensei. Tsunade greeted as she continued signing papers. Tsunade. Has there been any word in regards to Naruto? Sarutobi asked hopefully as he and Tsunade have been telling all Jonin and Anbu taking missions outside the village to keep an eye out for any sign of Naruto or word of where he's been. Though his hopes were dashed when Tsunade shook her head negatively. No, nothing besides rumors of a black-clad wolf creature, and from what you told me about that giant mech, I'd say it's him. But nothing concrete or an exact location. Tsunade said solemnly, thinking about her distant cousin. Old Tsunade was a senju. She still had Uzumaki blood from her grandmother, Mito Uzumaki, and learning another Uzumaki was all alone and hated made Tsunade feel like her grandmother's ghost was constantly glaring at her in disappointment. "Hey Haim, sensei," Jiraiya said, jumping through the open window, much to both Tsunade and Sarutobi's chagrin. "Why do we even have a door?" Tsunade thought, wondering what the point of even having a door was if people were just going to go through the window. "What is it, Jiraiya?" Hiruzen questioned, as Jiraiya lost any trace of amusement, turning serious. "I've gotten word that the Akatsuki is on the move. So whatever you're doing to find Naruto, you better hurry since it won't be long before the Akatsuki target him," stated Jiraiya, Tsunade and Hiruzen looking at him with wide eyes before exchanging worried looks. If the Akatsuki was on the move, they'll have to double their efforts to locate Naruto before the Akatsuki can. They can only hope Naruto hasn't already been captured by anyone who would use him for their own purposes. The Togakur. Within the land of sound was the hidden headquarters of Orochimaru's hidden sound village, though in truth a Togakur was more along the lines of a series of bases Orochimaru has hidden throughout the elemental nations. Though within the base was a very special person. The person in question was a 17-year-old girl. The girl had long jet black hair with a blue tint going down to her lower back and tied up in a ponytail, pale skin, obsidian-colored eyes, though currently they were now crimson red with 3 tomos circling the pupil. The girl's attire consisted of black ninja sandals that went partway up her calves, black form-fitting leggings that hugged her shapely rear, a dark blue skirt stopping midway down her thighs, a purple rope belt tied around her waist, a Chikudo sword secured by behind her, and white long-sleeve shirt open at the chest, revealing the bandages wrapped around her breasts. This girl was none other than Satsuki Uchiha. Now one might question who Satsuki is, given as far as everyone, aside from a select few, know there is no Satsuki Uchiha. The truth is though, Satsuki has lived under a different name for the past few years, ever since the Uchiha massacre, the name being Sasuke Uchiha, being little more than a disguise Satsuki made for herself. How did it all lead to this? Satsuki pondered, sitting in her room in Orochimaru's base. It wasn't the first time she wondered this, and she already knew the answer, no matter how much she wished she could change it. All of it starting when Itachi slaughtered their clan and family, then her throwing away her best friend and the only loved one she had left. "Naruto-kun, I'm so sorry." Satsuki thought, her head hung low. Her mind went back to the day she first met Naruto. Flashback. 5-year-old Satsuki Uchiha smiled widely as she walked next to her Kasan, Mikoto Uchiha, having spent together since her Two-san and Ai-san were too busy to train or play with her respectively. Currently they were walking through park as other people went about their business, while children ran around laughing and playing. Though Satsuki suddenly stopped and looked over at the playground, but no one playing near it, with the sole occupant being a blonde boy her age sitting on a swing. "He looks sad," thought Satsuki, seeing the boy's downcast expression. "Suki-chan, what is it?" Mikoto asked, getting her daughter's attention. "Ah-san, look, that boy is sitting by himself," said Satsuki, pointing in the boy's direction. Looking, Mikoto did see the child sitting by himself with no one around or even getting near him. Wait, that's Mikoto thought, recognizing who it was. Though unlike the majority of the village, Mikoto didn't immediately identify him as the Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, despite being aware of his status. Instead she knew as her best friend, Kushina Uzumaki's son Naruto. It had saddened Mikoto to learn her friend had died and her newborn son made into an orphan and Jinchuriki less than an hour after being born. Only a baby, and already he was alone in the world and have a burden he didn't ask for forced onto him. Mikoto would have gladly taken Naruto in, but given the Sandaime forbidding any clans from taking Naruto in or offering him any support, along with the Uchiha clan being placed under heavy stigma due to people believing that they were responsible for the attack, there wasn't anything Mikoto could really do to help him. Although Mikoto thought, looking at her daughter as she crouched down. "You're right, Tsuki-chan, he does look lonely. Why don't you go introduce yourself?" Mikoto said, Satsuki looking at her Kasan confused. "Why?" asked Satsuki, Mikoto smiling and patting her. "Something just tells me you'll both be great friends to each other," Mikoto said. Satsuki was only further confused by that before looking back to the boy. It would be nice to have a friend her age, and her Kasan was usually right about things. "Okay, Kasan," Satsuki said before running over to the boy. "Hi," Satsuki said, getting his attention. Naruto looked up and was surprised to see a girl standing in front of him. Then it registered what she said. "Hello," said Naruto unsurely, since he's not used to anyone approaching him, most people either glaring at him or looked afraid. "Do you want to play with me?" asked Satsuki, surprising Naruto again. "What?" Naruto said, not sure he heard correctly. You look lonely and I didn't think you'd want to sit here all by yourself. So, do you want to play? Satsuki said. Naruto was surprised that this girl he's never met or seen before just walked up to him and asked if he wanted to play. Sure, yeah. Naruto said, a smile slowly appearing on his face. Great, let's go. Said Satsuki, grabbing Naruto's hand, pulling him up off the swing, the boy stumbling a little. By the way, I'm Satsuki Uchiha. Satsuki introduced. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Said Naruto, Satsuki smiling brightly at him. It's nice to meet you, Naruto. Satsuki said as both children started playing together. Then flashback. They had been best friends ever since then, never being seen far apart. It had great for Satsuki to have a friend that only saw her as Satsuki and not as an Uchiha, and she knew Naruto loved having such a friend. Neither had expected to create such a strong bond with each other. Or the heartache and pain that would come from her trying to sever that bond. It had been a few days after the Uchiha massacre when Naruto had visited Satsuki after she was discharged from the hospital. At the time, Satsuki had been so entrenched in her grief and rage, along with Itachi's words echoing in her head on repeat. If you want to kill me, curse me. Hate me. And live a long and unsightly life, run away and cling to your pitiful life. And then someday, when you have the same eyes as I do, come before me. Satsuki had only desired to be left alone, and Naruto's attempts to talk to her, while sweet and heartwarming, only served to anger her that he just wouldn't leave her alone. It all amounted to Satsuki screaming at Naruto to leave her alone, saying they weren't friends anymore or that she'd ever want to be friends with a loser like him. The look on his face at her words had been truly heartbreaking, but Satsuki was too mad at the time to notice her care. It hadn't been until Satsuki managed to calm down after a few days to become racked with guilt at her actions and words. She had gone to find Naruto and apologize, but when she had found him it had been like he'd never even met her before or even knew who she was. Satsuki hadn't been sure if he was mad at her and pretending he didn't know her or somehow he'd truly forgotten who she was, either it had hurt Satsuki that she had lost her best friend. Not long after that, Satsuki had created her persona of Sasuke, the self-centered arrogant avenger. The only ones who were aware of her identity were the Sandaime, who helped sell the lie that she was a boy, and Kakashi, given he was her sensei, and his presence helped her train in private without fear of being discovered. The lies had worked and everyone believed she was a boy, that is until she started back at the academy and ended up in the same class as Naruto. Not wanting to end up hurting him again, Satsuki ignored him, however this backfired on her when he declared himself her rival and that he'll surpass her. She didn't show it, but Satsuki had been happy Naruto still focused on her, even if it wasn't really her he was focused on. But Satsuki still refused to let Naruto get close to her, not only so he didn't get caught up in her problems, but also her fear of Itachi's words on how to unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan, that she had to kill her best friend. That was something Satsuki wanted to avoid as she had no desire to be anything like Itachi, and she couldn't even imagine killing the one she loved. This led Satsuki to belittle and insult Naruto, hoping to ward him off of trying to be her friend, rival, or anything important to her, but Naruto only proved how stubborn he is by not giving up and only trying harder to surpass her. It was both endearing and annoying for the disguised Uchiha. Not to mention she hated insulting him. It only got worse after Naruto's transformation, which Satsuki would admit only to herself was incredibly hot, combined with his new attitude. The downside, however, was that he no longer cared about his team or anyone in Konoha really, which hurt Satsuki all the more even as she repeatedly told herself it was for the best. Then it all came to an end when he left the village, left her. After elbowing me in the face. Satsuki thought, rubbing her face at the phantom pain. Can't say she didn't deserve it after everything she said to him when she was Sasuke. That and a lot more. Thought Satsuki, chuckling bitterly, wondering if this was karma for hurting Naruto or if someone out there just enjoyed tormenting her. Just then Satsuki was pulled from her thoughts when Kabuto entered her room, much to her annoyance since he didn't even knock first. Orochimaru-sama wants to see you, Satsuki. Kabuto informed. Not even acknowledging the spy, Satsuki brushed past him and made her way to Orochimaru's throne room. Reaching, she saw the snake Sannin waiting for her. What do you want? Satsuki questioned, not bothering to bow or show any respect to the man. We'll be moving to the base in the land of grass soon, make sure to bring anything of importance you might need. Orochimaru stated, Satsuki scoffing, thinking it was actually something important. Turning on her heel to head back to her room only for Orochimaru to speak again. TSK Satsuki-chan, I thought we talked about that attitude of yours. After all, isn't that how you lost Naruto-kun? Orochimaru said tauntingly, knowing exactly what buttons to push to get a reaction from Satsuki. Unfortunately, the most he got was Satsuki clenching her fists in anger before stalking off. Just you wait, snake, you'll get yours soon. Satsuki thought, vowing that once Orochimaru has nothing left to teach she'll kill him and then burn what's left. Unknown location. In a hidden cave 6 illusionary bodies appeared with no distinguishable features aside from the eyes. "Report," commanded the figure with solid purple eyes and black concentric rings. "Madara and I are approaching Suna and should arrive within only a few hours to capture the Ichibi Jinchuriki Pain-sama," reported a short hunchback member with a deep raspy voice. This was Sasori of the Red Sand. "We are on the trail of the Yonbi Jinchuriki and will have a location within the coming months." Itachi reported for him and his partner Kisame. "Good. Report again when you have captured your targets and are prepared to perform sealing. Finally, a warning to be on the lookout for the one who killed Kakuzu and Haiden, along with making sure to find out where Zetsu is," ordered Pain. It had happened nearly a year ago. Kakuzu and Haiden had been sent to capture the Nanabi Jinchuriki, only to be attacked by an unknown assailant. While they didn't know who this person was, they knew they were strong to have beaten and killed the zombie duo. Not long after Zetsu had gone missing, which was a major blow to the Akatsuki, losing their member who gathered most of their information. Itachi, Kisame, Deidara, and Sasori nodded before cancelling the jutsu to resume their tasks, Pain and his partner, Konan, soon following. The Megacur. Opening their eyes, Pain and Konan saw Madara sitting out on the ledge of the tower, one leg hanging off the edge and the other pulled up to his chest. "Status report Nagato," said Madara. Deidara and Sasori are en route to Suna to capture the Ichibi, Kisame and Itachi are on the trail of the Yonbi, and there's still no word on Zetsu's whereabouts or the one who killed Kakuzu and Haiden. Pain, or rather Nagato, said with Madara nodding once he was updated on things. "Good, the sooner we begin capturing the Jinchuriki the closer we'll be to the completion of our goal. But extend our sources to locate Zetsu, losing him means losing our main information supplier. While Sasori's spy network is extensive, it's still pale in comparisons to Zetsu's abilities," said Madara. "We'll do our best to locate him," Pain stated. "See that you do. Project Tsuki-no-Mi has already had enough delays with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki vanishing and Kakuzu and Haiden's deaths. I can't risk losing Zetsu as well," thought Madara before vanishing in a swirl of distorted air. "With Kitsumi. You know how this can end, just tell me who the masked Uchiha is," Kitsumi said over the screams of her torture victim, said victim being Zetsu himself. "Never. I'll never tell you anything, Kyuubi," Zetsu said, as despite the numerous torture methods Kitsumi has put him through, most of which she had to invent on the spot after she ran out standard torture methods, he's refused to tell her anything about the masked Uchiha. Though she had been able to squeeze out the identity of all the still living Akatsuki members, including the figurehead possessing the Rinnegan. But she wanted the masked man's name, his true name, as she doubts it truly is Madara, as while the man's chakra was dark and vile, it wasn't even close to the darkness Madara possessed. "Fine, then you can burn," said Kitsumi, releasing a stream of fire, lighting the plant creature aflame, his screams of agony being music to her ears. Kitsumi was annoyed at yet another dead to the masked man's identity. Crushing Zetsu's ring, just as she'd done with Kakuzu and Haiden's, Kitsumi exited the room once she was sure Zetsu's entire body was ash. She wasn't going to risk him escaping back his master and compromise her freedom. "Ugh, maybe I should just ask the brat for help. I'm sure he'd enjoy hunting down the man that caused that night to happen." Kitsumi thought, not liking to have to ask for help but is willing to ask, if only because her former container kept good on their deal. Either way, she's going to get her hands on that masked bastard and take great pleasure in peeling the flesh from his bones. Deidara and Sasori arrived the Akatsuki base in the Land of Rivers, the former of whom more than a little annoyed, since his fight with the Ichibi Jinchuriki cost him most of his clay and left arm had been crushed, leaving it useless. With both Akatsuki member was a giant clay bird Deidara, created to carry the unconscious body of Gaara. Entering the cave where they saw Pain's projection already waiting for them. "Mission accomplished, Leader Sama, the Ichibi Jinchuriki has been captured and ready for extraction," Deidara said, Pain nodding once in approval. "Well done, we will perform the sealing immediately," said Pain, wanting to get the sealing started immediately, especially since with Kakuzu, Haiden, and Zetsu no longer present, it will take even longer than the 3 days it'd normally take to seal the tailed beast. "No matter, our plan will be completed and any who stand in our will know true Pain." Pain thought, summoning the Jito Meizo and the other Akatsuki members. "It's time to perform the sealing." Konoha Hokage's office. "The Kazekage has been kidnapped by the Akatsuki. I'm sending you 3 to assist Suna and bring him back," Tsunade said to the 3 standing before her and her sensei. The 3 being Kakashi Haddock, Sakura Haruno, and Hinata Hyuga. These 3 were chosen due to Kakashi's experience with the organization from when Kisame and Itachi infiltrated the village 3 years ago, Sakura due to being Tsunade's apprentice in medical ninjutsu, and Hinata with her Byakugan and mastery of the gentle fist. Looking at the 3, Tsunade and Hiruzen thoughts became more personal and how they have been the past 3 years since Naruto left and Sasuke turned rogue. Kakashi and Sakura didn't truly care when they learned Naruto left, given their already low opinions of the boy. In fact, the only reason Sakura became Tsunade's apprentice and took the kunoichi life seriously was so she can bring back her precious Asuka-kun. Oh, the poor deluded girl. Tsunade though mentally smirking. Her sensei had told the truth about the last Uchiha, that Sasuke was really Satsuki, and Tsunade couldn't deny she was eager to see her apprentice's reaction to the truth. She'll either have a mental breakdown that the object of her affection was in fact a girl, or she'll come back stronger from it. Tsunade had only agreed to train Sakura was because it'd be foolish to leave the girl weak, or worse, try learning Tsunade's techniques on her and shattering her bones. Better to make her a semi-competent kunoichi, she says given the girl was still obsessed with Sasuke, than leave her as she was. Though Tsunade did have to resist caving the girl's head in the way she talked about her former teammate, of course, after Sakura said such things Tsunade just happened to start a rather dangerous training session of throwing boulders at high speed at the girl to break. Unfortunately, Sakura couldn't break all the boulders and had to heal herself. Either way it was good to either master her super strength or practice medical jutsu on the fly. Kakashi meanwhile only filled both the god aim and former Sandaime with disappointment and anger. While they understood his reasons for focusing on Satsuki, given the need to keep her identity a secret, that didn't mean he couldn't have just created a clone to focus on Naruto and Sakura with their training, instead he did no such thing. In fact, they learned Kakashi only saw Sakura as a waste, believing she had only even become a genin due to her book smarts, other than that she never tried to train on her own. He believed that Sakura would return to being a love-struck fangirl as soon as Sasuke was brought back, that is until she learned the truth behind the Uchiha's identity. Once that happened, she'd either quit being a kunoichi, seeing she had been pursuing someone who wasn't even real, or she'd go insane after learning that a crush doesn't exist. One of the two. As for his behavior to Naruto, that is what angered Tsunade and Sarutobi the most, as Kakashi just didn't like Naruto. He didn't like the reminder Naruto presented at losing both his sensei and his sister figure. Whether he overlooked that they'd be royally pissed at his treatment of their son or just didn't care was anyone's guess. And like Sakura, Kakashi blamed Naruto for Satsuki's departure, seeing the former blonde as the reason he lost his prized student and last link to his teammate Obito. Now the third member of the team had impressed Tsunade and Hiruzen, along with many others, in the past 3 years. Out of everyone Hinata had taken Naruto's quitting as a shinobi and later departure the hardest. But rather than become a shell of herself she managed to pick the scattered pieces and come back stronger. She had devoted herself to her training and is now one of the strongest kunoichi in Konoha and becoming a master of the gentle fist, becoming both a strong kunoichi and a worthy Hyuga clan heir. Though it did raise some concern when she started training under Anko Mitarashi, and with good reason as no one wanted a second sadist running around. Thankfully Hinata's time with Anko didn't have her develop a sadistic streak of a fetish for blood, but she did take to wearing rather provocative clothing, and if rumors are true, she's got nearly the entire Hyuga clan terrified of her. "We'll set out immediately Hokage-sama," Kakashi said. "See that you do, we can't risk the Akatsuki extracting the Kazukija's tailed beast." "Dismissed," Tsunade said as the three left to prepare for their mission. "Sensei, hand me that scratcher please," Tsunade said once the three were out of the office. Raising a brow at the request Sarutobi handed Tsunade one of the many scratch-off cards she kept in her desk. "Keep handing them to me," said Tsunade as she went to work to see if any of the cards were good. Still confused Hiruzen did as she asked and kept handing her cards as she kept seeing what they were. Eventually he had handed her 12's cards and Sarutobi realized what she was doing, knowing anytime Tsunade won something bad would happen soon, the more she won the worse it would be. "Well?" Hiruzen asked. Rather than respond Tsunade held her face in her hands and shook her head while pushing the cards to her sensei. "That's not good," Hiruzen stated seeing the amount she just won. "It'd be enough to but a small town with some to spare. Tell the Anbu to be on high alert, same with the gate guards and all our forces out on patrol," Tsunade said, Hiruzen nodding knowing whatever is coming definitely isn't good. Time skip 2 days. With Naruto. Approaching the walls of Suna, Naruto frowned when he noticed the number of ninja, along with what looked to be damage to the walls and village from an attack. "Be on guard, we don't know what happened her, and it'd be better to be safe than sorry," Naruto told Kin and Taiya, both nodding while ready to draw weapons at a moment's notice. Though as they walked to the gates Naruto stopped as he felt 4 chakra signatures also approaching, all of which he recognized. One he knew was Tamari and the other 3 were people he could have lived with never seeing again. "Fan-fucking-tastic," Naruto thought annoyed as he turned to face the 4. "Naruto," Tamari said upon seeing the one who saved her brother accompanied by 2 girls. "Tamari," greeted Naruto while feeling the eyes of both his former teammate and sensei glaring at him while the third member looked at him in shock. Sensing the tension in the air Tamari moved between the 2 groups with her arms held out. Alright, I'm only saying this once, no fighting until I know both my brothers and village are safe, is that clear? Tamari said, giving both groups glares, daring them to try and contradict her. Well, I can promise we won't try anything. I can't say the same for Haddock and Haruno. Now what's happened to Gaara? Naruto asked, worried of what happened to his friend. He's been taken the Akatsuki. Kankuro tried going after them but was poisoned and is in critical condition. Tamari answered, having received a message on the way back to Suna of what's happened and is worried for her brothers. Looking to Kin, Naruto nodded, making the Uchiha step forward. Show me. Kin said. Tamari looked at the girl warily, now recognizing her and Taiya as having worked with Orochimaru 3 years ago. Looking to Naruto, she saw him nod, making Tamari sigh. If he trusted them, then she could trust them as well, for now. Later. Naruto leaned against the wall with Taiya sitting next to him, while sitting away from him was Haddock, which was just fine for Naruto. They were currently waiting as Kin and Sakura went about healing Kankuro of the poison he was injected with. Not many people outside of medics and puppeteers use poison. Considering this is also an unknown poison and the fact Gaara was captured, means the Akatsuki members are Deidara the Mad Bomber and Sasori of the Red Sands. Deidara would have been the one to fight and capture Gaara, as there's no way Sasori could have, as no matter how skilled a puppeteer he'd be, he still wouldn't be fast enough to get past Gaara's sand. While Deidara is crazy enough to be unpredictable and either tire Gaara out or force him to lower his own defenses, like dropping a massive bomb on the village. Naruto thought. Either both members specialize in long-range combat, but he can't put off the chance they have ways to counter their own weaknesses. Deidara will also likely be weakened from his fight with Gaara, so they'll have to hurry before they have a chance to regain their strength or complete the ceiling. Then Naruto-kun. Naruto's eye snapped and looked at Hinata, who had walked over and was now standing in front of him. Yes. Said Naruto, neutrally, watching the girl fidget under his gaze. Why did you leave Konoha? Hinata asked. Since no one had figured just why Naruto had left, there were plenty of guesses, but not an actual answer. Naruto looked at the girl, considering just not answering. He had no obligation to answer any questions anyone from Konoha asked, but shrugged, not seeing the harm. I simply had no desire to remain in a village that clearly hated me. I had no friends there, the rest of our former classmates were acquaintances at best, and my team made it no secret they considered me deadweight. So, I left to live my own life away from a village that either hates me or seeks to control me. Naruto answered honestly and neutrally, since he didn't really have problem with Hinata. I'm sorry. Said Hinata, Naruto looking at her with a raised brow. For what? You did nothing to me. Naruto. That's why I'm sorry, because I never did anything for you, because of my own shyness. I used to always cry and give up. I made many wrong turns, but you helped me find the right path. I always chased after you. I wanted to catch up to you. I wanted to walk beside you all the time. I just wanted to be with you. You changed me. Your smile is what saved me. Because I love you, Hinata finally admitted, feeling like a weight had been lifted off her chest at getting her feelings out in the open. Are you fucking kidding me? Taiya thought, glaring at the Hyuga. She's already sharing with Kin, potentially the mystery girl they're also trying to find if she's still alive. There's no way she's sharing with another, not unless they got her okay. Naruto meanwhile kept a neutral expression, but on the inside he was frowning in annoyance and even a little anger. The fact that she was only now confessing these feelings when it's already far too late, and the fact he would have actually liked it if he'd had someone by his side growing up. Grunting, Naruto rubbed his temple, feeling another memory flash. We'll always be together. The girl said, smiling at him. Willing the coming headache away, Naruto looked to Hinata. Well, thank you for revealing this, Hinata, but I'm afraid I don't feel the same. Naruto said. Well, he can understand her past shyness, he just doesn't have romantic feelings for her. Though he was confused when she nodded in understanding. It's fine, I just wanted to let you know one day. Besides, I actually met someone. Said Hinata, blushing at the admittance. Ah, and who's the lucky guy, if you don't mind me asking? Said Naruto, as Hinata's face turned even redder. It's actually not a guy. Hinata said. Oh well, I wish you both the best, Naruto said, not being one to judge who a person loves. Thank you. The White Fang. Oh, thank Kami. Thought Naruto, relieved at the distraction before things got even more awkward. Though when he saw the distraction in question was an old lady attacking Haddock, Naruto felt like slamming his head against the wall. Later. Naruto's group and the Konoha ninja stood at the gates. After Kankuro was healed and cured of the poison, he had revealed he'd managed to grab a piece of fabric from Sasori's cloak, allowing them to track the Akatsuki members. Biting his thumb, Naruto flipped through hand signs before slamming his hand on the ground. Summoning Jutsu. In a puff of a smoke, 3 D-rolls, colored brown, black, and gray that came up to his waist appeared, the Konoha ninja looking surprised at the appearance of the massive wolves. Naruto-sama, why have you summoned us? Questioned the gray one, while Naruto pulled out the fabric Kankuro gave them. I need you 3 to track the scent of the person who was wearing this. Naruto said. The wolves got close and sniffed the fabric before nodding, showing they got the scent. Scatter, said Naruto as his summons ran off, immediately followed soon by Naruto, Kin, and Taiya. Hinata, can you track any residual chakra left by the Akatsuki or Kazekage? Kakashi questioned, Hinata nodding before activating her Byakugan. It's faint, but I can see a trail. If we can get to where Kankuro fought the Akatsuki, I should be able to get a stronger trail, said Hinata. Good, let's go team, said Kakashi, though before they could go they were approached by the old lady who had attacked Kakashi, Granny Chiyo, one of the elders of Suna. With Naruto's group. You don't think it would have been good to go with the others? I mean, I know you don't like the Scarecrow or Pinky, but wouldn't it be better to have strength in numbers? Kin asked, looking to Naruto. In most cases, yes. But not now. It's likely the Akatsuki will know teams will be in pursuit of Gaara after Kankuro's rescue attempt, so they'll likely have set up precautions to delay anyone in pursuit, or at the very least something to alert them of anyone that gets too close to their location. If that's the case, better to work separately, that way if one group is delayed the other can continue forward. Naruto explained, Kin nodding in understanding. Later. Running through the land of rivers, Naruto's group followed his deer wolves to where the Akatsuki were hiding. I can sense Gaara and Shukaku. They're both getting weaker, meaning they've already started the extraction process. Naruto thought, having developed the ability to sense tailed beast chakra from the chakra Kitsumi left in him. Though they suddenly stopped when they saw someone appear in front of them. It was a woman with shoulder-length blue hair, amber eyes, a piercing in her lower lips, and a blue origami flower in her hair. But what the three noticed was the cloak she was wearing. Akatsuki. Naruto said, lowly, seeing the black cloak with red clouds. Ayubi Jinchuriki, you will be coming with me, stated the woman. Kin, Taiya. Naruto said. Right. The girl said. Taiya jumped back and pulled out her flute, while Naruto and Kin drew their respective weapons and charged forward. Swift style. Shadowless flight. Naruto thought, vanishing in a blur of speed, and began appearing around the woman, slashing his blade at various angles, only for the woman to dodge all of his attacks. Appearing behind her, Naruto went to strike her across the back, only to jump back when large paper wings shot out the woman's back. What? She controls paper. Naruto thought. Resistance is futile, you can't beat me. The woman said, using her wings to block the Senbon Kin through. Reappearing next to Kin, both nodded before going through hand signs. Higher style. Grand Fireball Jutsu. Wind style. Great Breakthrough. The two jutsu combined, unleashing a firestorm that engulfed the woman. Frowning that she didn't try dodging the attack, though Naruto noticed burning pieces of paper floating down. Getting a closer look, Naruto's eyes widened when he saw they weren't regular pieces of paper, but explosive seals. Get down. Naruto shouted, pushing Kin back before going through hand signs again. Water style. Water encampment wall. Said Naruto as a wall of water formed from the moisture in the air just as the explosive tags went off. Gritting his teeth, Naruto held the jutsu until the explosions died down. Once they did, he dropped the jutsu, panting heavily. Damn it. Being on Yuzushio rusted our skills more than I thought it did. Naruto thought before stiffening when he felt the woman appear behind him. This ends now, stated the woman, going to wrap Naruto in a cocoon of paper. However, before she could, she felt her body freeze up as she heard a melody on the wind. Ninjutsu. She realized. You're right, this ends now. Naruto said, drawing his blade while channeling fire chakra through it. I have a message for you and the rest of the Akatsuki. Naruto said while driving his blade through the woman's chest. You want the Kyuubi, come and get it, said Naruto as the woman was engulfed in flames, unable to use her jutsu to escape. Once she was dead, Naruto pulled his blade out and resealed it while Kin and Taiya rejoined him. But they frowned in confusion when in the place of the Akatsuki member was someone completely different. A fake, Taiya said. No, some type of shape-shifting jutsu, she probably possessed whoever this was to delay us. I'm also guessing she wasn't at full strength either, Naruto said, mentally cursing. He had trouble against an Akatsuki member that wasn't even at full power. That just proves he's grown complacent. He'll have to rectify that once they've rescued Gaara. Let's go, we still have a ways to go, Naruto said. Later. Well, this is just fucking lovely, thought Naruto, seeing the Konoha ninja and Chiyo along with four more, two green-wearing guys, a girl with her done up in buns, and another Hyuga, the last of whom Naruto noticed was glaring at Hinata, who surprisingly returned the glare. Jumping down in front of the large boulder, ignoring the questioning and tense looks from the new arrivals, Naruto jumped up to the boulder to look at the ceiling tag placed on it. Looks like a 5-seal barrier preventing us from simply busting in. This tag along with 4 others need to be removed simultaneously, Naruto thought before looking to the new arrivals. After radios were handed out, he sent Team Guy, as he learned they were called, after the 4 other tags, while he had a clone ready to rip off the 5th. On my mark. Naruto instructed while holding his hand out in front of him to prepare a jutsu to destroy the boulder. 3, 2, 1, now. Instantly all 5 tags were ripped off while Naruto created a dark purple orb of chakra in his hand, surrounded by a series of white rings orbiting the ball. Spiraling ring. Naruto shouted, slamming the attack into the boulder, reducing it to rubble as they all jumped into the cave ready for anything. What if Naruto is trained by wolves for chunin exams? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.